Matagal ko nang naitanong sa sarili ko, ano kaya ang experience ng mga antique dealer na naniniwala sa mundong di nakikita? Ngayong gabi, kausap natin si Carlo, isang antique dealer na may iba't ibang kwento tungkol sa ibaloy, mga practice nila sa Highlands, kung papaano ginagawa ang bulol at ano ang ginagawa niya pag may bagong antique na dumating sa shop. Enjoy.
Sabi mo, ayun, sorry, nagkakwento si Carlo. Yung kwento mo dun sa start nung, yung sa bag, yung sought after bag.
Yeah.
Oo.
So, collecting bags kasi rattan bags, rattan kasi is one of the most native talaga na materials ng Philippines. So, Northern Luzon, there are different tiers to collecting yung bags. Aside from yung craftsmanship, there are some bags na hindi ganun kadami ang ginagawa. There's a market bag, this one, like the open ones. They make them talaga for everybody. There's this one, in abnutan, it has the abnut fiber. It's used for hunting and foraging if you go sa forests.
Pero mukha siyang parang vest nga siya pag inisip mo.
It's a backpack.
Backpack.
It waterproofs your bag and keeps
Can
you
you
warm.
take a picture
Yeah,
of
go
it?
ahead.
Sige.
So yung mga yan, hindi naman siya, this is uncommon naman.
Okay.
Ang common ones would be itong mga to.
Yung open bag na
Pasiking.
yun. Oo.
Kasi talagang lahat gumagamit ng
Yes,
ganyan.
nakikita ko yun sa market
Oo.
eh.
And then there are specific ritual bags. Sa Mountain Province, there's the one na they call yung takba.
Takba, yes, oo.
One community, or let's say, depends on how big the clan is or community is, you generally have one per community only, per dapay. A dapay is where the community, the elders gather together. That's where they hold yung mga talks nila about tribal warfare, about the state ng crops, state ng clans.
So
ng
parang
families.
community center
Yeah,
ang dating.
community center.
Oo.
But it's open.
Okay.
It has stones, it's inbuilt in a circle. Tapos syempre, there's a fire pit to keep you warm while you talk about
Yes,
it. Parang ganon. And then, you set your spears naman sa likod.
Talagang,
Oo, kasi tribal council.
Yes,
kumbaga,
oo,
sa
oo.
Trinidad. Para siyang talagang, it's like primitive of the most primitive.
Okay.
Ngayon,
Pero meron pa today.
they have a dapay, but ano na siya, syempre, parang sa amin, yung sa mother side ko, ano na siya, social na. Parang clubhouse na.
Okay.
Parang ganun na. But the reason for having the dapay is still the same. It's where the different clans can talk about it, settle disputes, talk about yung... now, it's talking about clan finances na. So, in the Mountain Province, the dapay kasi, that's where you find the takba.
Takba, oo.
The takba...
So, nasa
is-
center siya or parang nakalagay lang siya sa area?
Nakalagay lang siya in the area.
Oo.
It's usually on a pole or on a spear. Nakasabit lang siya dun.
Okay.
The takba is like an open rattan bag with adornments. It's got black feathers, beads, adornments ng whatever the tribe or the clans feel like putting doon.
Yes.
It's like it's like an important ritual bag. The takba houses different na paraphernalia. It's different per area siguro, let's say na ganun, the contents niya. But generally, the purpose ng takba, it's a ritual bag where, to put it simple, it's where the spirits ng mga dead from head hunting, in a way, it's where they reside.
Okay.
Or it's where yung remnants ng rituals to appease them, it's where it goes. Parang ganun. So yung contents niya, marami siya kung ano-ano. Like, you got betel nut, you got whatever yung requirement at that specific time na ng parties.
So, per area, may kanya-kanya rin silang nilalagay?
It could be different.
Okay. Yeah,
We cannot
okay.
say that's the same kasi some communities, they chew betel nut.
Yes.
So it's possible na they put betel nut there parang for the dead na ganun. Some na put tobacco, some put yun depending on yung parang siguro yung tao na rin.
Yeah, yung tao rin.
Yes.
Oo.
So one takba, they don't usually dispose of it. Never actually. They never dispose of it kasi it's the pinaka-importante na ng community. Ngayon, syempre the Americans came in na a lot of things changed. The people from the lowlands also started coming up to do business. Some resided, they remarried there. Headhunting was basically, let's say, sabi nila, eradicated during the 1970s, yung time ng martial law. But it's another long story. It's not real.
Yes, oo.
Ngayon, along with yung coming ng mga different na people na who are not Highlanders, came religion, different belief sets, and then some of the natives, naturally, may na convert.
Na-convert, oo.
Ganun. Lahat yon, lahat ng communities from Bontoc to Kalinga, even Baguio City, meron talaga convert. So, once you get converted, some no longer believe in yung cultural beliefs, or nag-iiba na, nagiging either mixed or totally they just drop yung cultural nila. So in doing that, you no longer believe in yung purpose ng takba.
Yes.
No longer believe in, siguro you still believe in the purpose ng dapay kasi mostly elders yun eh.
Oo.
But yung mga ritual items, parang hindi na.
Oo.
So, there was a time when nag-boom talagang ang antiquities trade sa Cordillera. Siguro it was around the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Okay.
Something happened, I'm guessing around the 80s yun or 90s. Nag-flourish talaga ang different na belief sets eh. So, sa community, there's one specific community sa Mountain Province na nawala yung takba.
Nanakaw, in other
Yes.
words. Oo.
It was big money eh.
Oo.
It's anything exotic kasi from, sa atin, sa
Yes.
natives, it usually sells really well by the dollar.
Oo. Oo.
So, alam mo yun, it's very tempting. Plus, if ikaw na hindi ka na naniniwala sa old beliefs,
Yes.
you don't see
Baliwala
it as
na.
important.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just see it as a money-making, So, one community, nawala yung kanilang takba. Tapos, sabi nila, there are at least 4 people involved. Etong kwento, naikwento rin sa akin, anak na actually nung antique dealer.
Anak ng antique
Second
dealer?
generation din
Okay.
antique dealer.
Okay.
Yung dad niya actually ang nagkwento din sa kanya. Etong kwento naman na to, hindi naman siya... It's a secret but not really a secret. We
Okay.
just don't want to talk about it.
It's a good cautionary tale.
Yes. We just don't want to talk about it. But kami, being the younger generation, at my age, I'm still the younger generation. Sa ganitong community, it's a warning for you.
Oo, true.
Diba? Even if you don't believe, the communities believe.
Yes.
So, there are 4 people involved daw dun sa theft ng takba. One is a native himself from the community. One is a runner, somebody who brings yung product from the native land, from the mountain, all the way to Baguio City.
Okay.
Kasi that's where the trade usually happens.
Oo.
And then another is the antique dealer who has a shop doon sa Baguio.
Sa Baguio na. Oo.
And then who eventually exports it or brings it to Metro Manila. And then the other one, let's say yung buyer himself, or he could actually be a middleman, is a foreigner. Sabi nila is an American guy.
Okay.
So they took the takba. It exited the province, it exited Baguio City, exited the country. Siyempre, may uproar sa community. But what can the community do? At that time, mahirap ang... I don't even think may demandahan sa you can demand, magdedemanda ka for theft. But to put an actual price on yung para mabayaran ka dahil nanakaw, it's quite difficult yung mga ganun na situations.
Yung galing sa community, nandun pa siya o wala na rin siya? Okay. Sige. Sorry. Getting ahead. Okay.
So what happened was, nawala siya. It was buried in time yung na yun. Kasi the community, it's very difficult. Kalabanin mo yung mga bigger na it's difficult. And then the know-how, how to do yung step by step and then take it back from the States.
Illegal process.
It's really, really difficult. It happened in the 80s or 90s. It's not as easy as now.
Yes. Oo.
Walang internet, siguro meron na, but wala pa doon.
Yes. Oo.
Eventually, according dun sa kwento na rinig ko, so years go by. Pumasok na tayo sa year 2000 onwards. Millennium, may na-receive na call where the story originally came from. May na-receive daw siyang tawag. Doon kasi sa Maharlika, isa-isa na nagsasara kasi hindi na siguro at that time, year 2000, hindi na ganun kauso ang trade. There were siguro, let's say, 6 or maximum of 10 shops past its heyday. So naka-receive ng call yung isa. Ngayon, nagkausap sila, nagka-identify, I'm blah blah blah, I'm this guy from United States. There's a specific item na I want to repatriate, to return back to the community. Sabi ko na gano'n. So nagtaka naman yung isa. Ano po yun? Kasi nothing came through me.
Yes,
sabi niya. It's a specific bag na mention niya. Kinilabutan yung yeah, I know that story. I was younger back then. That happened around 15 or 20 years ago, something like that. Now they want to return it. Kinonfirm niya, who are you? Sabi niya. Hindi siya actually yung kumuha na. Hindi na siya nagbenta. But it most likely, apparently it went to a private museum. The owner ng private museum already passed away. And they were tracking down the antiquities dealer who sold it to him, already also passed away. They were tracking down the antiques dealer sa Baguio City. He already passed away. So there's nobody there left, but yung mga medyo mas senior na antique dealers na who might be able to help them identify kung saan community ibabalik. So the antique dealer, reluctantly, hindi niya pwedeng this is a big, sabi niya, I want to try to help. And then, siya, even though not being from the tribe,
Yes.
takot pa rin yan eh. May takot pa rin yan sa what if.
Oo.
You don't know the what
Dumaan
if.
sa kanya, oo.
Yes. Sabi niya na ganun. He was probably talking to himself, talking to his wife, and said, should I take it, not take it? But he wants to give it back kasi it's bad juju, it's bad luck eh. He doesn't want to keep it kasi it's on the way to the Philippines. And then they were already
On
coming.
the way na. Okay.
They're really intent on bringing it back. So siya naman, sabi niya, bakit kaya?
Oo.
Ang mahal niyan eh.
Oo.
Bakit? Sabi niya na ganun. Naisip naman niya, okay, I'll help you. He did some, marami ng runners eh. They were already cell phones back then. They were already phones. Call here, call there. They identified the specific na...
Tribe.
Yes. The tribe and then the barangay where it came from. The specific clan. Sabi ng clan, we don't want it back. Bakit po? Sabi niya. Why don't you want it back? Isn't important, It's already been replaced long time ago. Why not take it back? Nabayaran na yan, sabi ng ganun.
Okay.
Anong ibig niyo sabihin? Sabi naman nung let's leave it at that, nabayaran na yan.
Yes.
And then, syempre, the guy was thinking to himself na at that time, what do they mean? Nabayaran na daw eh. It's already been paid for. We don't want it. Keep
Yes.
it, sabi ng ngayon. Hindi na mangangagat yan, sabi sa
Oo.
kanya. It's already been paid for. So the takba now resides with the antiquities dealer sa Baguio.
Okay.
And sabi niya sa akin, proud siya. I also met him. Although yung son na niya nagkwento sa akin, I still met the old man. He died recently, 90, he
Wow.
lived a very long,
Okay.
good life. Proud siya na I am the only one na legally I mean culturally or approved by the community having a takba.
Oo.
Sabi niya.
Pero not selling it. Talaga nandyan
No,
lang.
he kept it.
Oo.
Na hindi nangangagat, sabi niya. So it doesn't take lives because it already did daw, sabi ng community. So it's with them, sa family nila. Until now, I'm guessing until now, I don't think they would ever sell it. He was asking me, do you want to see it? Sabi, I refused. Thank you for the offer, but I refuse, sabi ko na ganun. It's already good na you told me about, and I'm really thankful, sabi ko na ganun. Kaya sabi niya sa akin, money is good. A lot of people actually during the 70s hanggang late 90s, early 2000s made their fortune through selling antiquities. Selling native goods, the bags, the carvings. But this is one of a few na I heard of na mga ganung kwento. There might be a lot na we don't know, and then some just brush it off as merely accidents. But nung kwento na sa akin, I also know the antiques dealer na
kumuha initially?
Yeah.
Okay.
He passed away then.
Would you know how he passed? Or baka ma-identify na siya, wag na?
Yeah, ma-identify siya. But it wasn't a good life how he ended.
Yes, yes.
I mean, he had money, but to be honest with you, I mean, it wasn't a good life, I think. Family problems,
Yes, yes.
eventually financial problems, you get heartbroken, and then, ayun, the takba. Takba is the most sought after na rattan bags.
I-search ko nga itsura, di ko alam. Parang ganito ba itsura niya? Hindi.
Thank you. Yeah, something like that ang itsura niya. And then ano siya, it has different na adornments depending on yung mismong tribe. That's the cautionary tale of the takba. That's why when we ask, even when I started the trading din, I ask, jokingly naman na, sabi ko when the runners come to me, antique yan. Hindi yan antique. This is like, sabi ko, this is most likely around 60s, 70s. Jokingly, I will ask, baka naman, saan galing yan? Sa'yo yan. Baka galing sa dapay yan. Alam na rin nung runner ang ibig kong sabihin. We don't say na the exact words, but, baka galing sa dapay yan, ha?
Yes.
Hindi. Ano naman tayo? Hindi naman tayo ganyan. Parang ganun. Alam na natin yan kung anong nangyayari once you take from the...
Yes.
Parang ganun.
Pero ikaw, in general, when kasi you have other antiquities here, meron kang parang ginagawa bang cleansing or meron kang ginagawang ritual before you take it in?
Sa akin naman, ang paniniwala ko, may belief set naman sa ganyan. It's just like how they introduce it to me din sa those who are ahead of me sa business. One is always having the respect for the, it's not just yung artistry niya, craftsmanship, respect for the culture where it's from. Especially sa amin na I'm also Ibaloy, I'm also from the native tribes. I've seen them when I was young. I've seen how the elderly or how yung nauna sa amin, treat them with respect. Kahit siguro hindi ka 100% na naniniwala na, or iba naman iba rin kasi sa amin, ibang paniniwala namin, ibang tribo din I would still respect yung paniniwala nung iba. So when I receive something, even if it's like the bulol for example, it's not necessarily yung structure itself they see it as a vessel kasi for yung ancestors. So usually, ang dinidiscard nila, sasabihin naman sa'yo nung wala na yan, na yan, umalis na sila. Hindi na sila nandyan. Ang binibili mo, kahoy na lang, and then yung artistry, parang ganun. Beyond that, hindi na siya, But still, sabi ko ng ganun, somebody told me nga we used to have this shop sa Baguio City. I had a lot of bulols. It's shop actually ng wife ko.
Okay.
This guy who used to bring them to me, wag mo muna ipasok. Diyan muna siya sa labas. Ganun din siya. Diyan muna siya sa labas. Tignan mo muna kung gusto niyang sumama o hindi. Pag natumba siya, tawagan mo akong kun ko yan, hindi yan para sa'yo. Benta ko sa iba. Parang ganun. Tapos binayaran ko na nga Kunwari ka pa But ganun siya. If natumba within the day, hindi yan para sa'yo. Babalik na yung pera mo.
So may nangyaring minatumba?
Wala naman so
Okay.
far. Pero meron daw kasi I don't know if it's a marketing ploy niya lang din. In-offer daw niya sa isang dealer. Higher pa nga daw yung price. Double mine. Ako, barat daw ako Pero natumba daw. Wala daw siyang magawa. Pinapatayo. Natutumba daw talaga. So sabi daw niya, hindi yan para sa'yo. Kinuha niya at binigay niya sa akin. So sabi ko, sige, anything from you, I will do the same. Ganun siya. So I put it outside first. And then wait for it if it actually wants to, kung at the end of the day, pag na yung araw, I'll text him, all good tayo, nothing really happened. And I'm honest din with yung it's not because I want to make money out from yung item na binigay na, but na rin, form of continuing yung practice nila. Kasi kung ganun ang kinalakihan niya rin as a runner, I have to respect yung
belief na dun.
Some naman, ask me na mag-offer ng
food.
what you eat, what I eat, they have to also eat.
Yes.
Like, back in the day, it was meat and then rice wine. Siyempre, rice wine is not easily
Yes.
If you drink red wine, bigyan mo ng konting red wine.
Okay.
Mahiya ka naman sa bisita mo, parang gano'n. Red wine and then if you eat bread or rice, konti lang, parang gano'n. Just to, lang. There's just one kilalang socialite. Ang asawa niya is a collector. Most likely, a lot of people already heard this kasi it's been on TV.
Okay.
The husband brought ang laki ng collection ng husband. I think at that time, siya ang pinakamalaking collection talaga ng wood carvings and then not just the bulol He brought home a pair of bulol. The wife could never sleep. Hanggang sa nag-culminate na in like how many days na may naririnig siyang yapak daw. May nakikita siyang shadow ng burly, big, hindi naman big, muscular kasi we're not big naman native. We're not big, we're just short. Muscular guy walking around sa bahay. Eventually, she dreamt na sinakal na siya.
Yes.
Sinakal na siya, papatayin siya sa panaginip niya. She was crying. The husband didn't want to believe kasi for the husband, it's art. It's brute art, it's artistry ng natives. It's a good, She called a medium. Hindi pa lang daw nag-start. Sabi na daw ngayon, tapos gusto nilang umalis. Tinuro na kung ano yan.
Oo.
Ayun. yun ang naging start ng disagreements, and then they eventually,
Split up. Oo.
yes. Kasi the husband does not believe it.
Oo.
Sabi nga, I've been collecting this since I was in parang ganito, ganyan. And I'm already, like 60 years old. Now you tell me that this is bringing me, ayaw niya. He lost the wife.
Okay.
Naghiwalay sila.
Yes.
He kept his collection.
Priorities.
Yeah. I met an antiques dealer. Sabi naman niya sa akin, kausapin mo muna kung gustong sumama sa'yo. Sabi niya na ganun. When I was young kasi, I used to go around sa Maharlika. Doon playground ko yun kasi my
Okay.
dad had a RTW shop.
Okay.
Uso pang RTW na yun,
Oo.
galing dito sa Expo. It
Yes,
was Shoe
yes.
Expo.
Yes,
My dad had a business doon sa Maharlika selling RTW, mga shoes, leather shoes, belts, yung mga ganun. Tapos sa second floor din sa Marby kasi, antique shops natin. So, I grew up there. Pag walang school, I'm already there kasi I wait for my dad. They close at like 5 eh. Our school is like out ng 3.
Okay.
I go around, run around. Kilala ko na sila lahat.
Yes.
My grandmother also knows the others kasi my grandmother used to sell bananas, negosyo na sa market.
Okay.
So the other grandmothers there,
Kilala mo
magkakilala.
na rin. Oo.
Come Christmas, I'll go around. Sabihin sa akin, anak, anong gusto mo? Kausapin mo kung may bumubulong sa'yo dyan. Sa'yo na, sabi niya na gano'n. She was referring to the bulol.
Oo.
Eh sabi ko, ayoko ng bulol. Ang gagawin ko, hindi ko naman lalaro yan eh. Hindi naman sa laruan, sabi ko.
Oo.
Bigyan mo ako ng pambili ng comics, sabi ko. In retrospect, I should have taken yung niya to get a bulol. But ang requirement niya, they have to tell you na gusto nilang sumama sa'yo. If not, hindi mo pwedeng kunin. So binibiro ko siya. Every time I go, she's still alive eh. Every time I go Christmas season, pupunta ako. Auntie, ang dami bumubulong sa akin. Sabi niya sa akin, sino dyan? Yung malaking yan. Grabe, parang sumisigaw na siya. Tumigil ka dyan, sabi niya sa akin. Mahal yan. Alam kong gagawin mo. Kukunin mo na yun, bibenta mo yun eh, sabi niya. So siya naman, ang requirement niya before was like, it has to be, parang, kumbaga, pareho kayo ng tuning nung item.
Aligned kayo. Oo.
She told me na she once sold a whistling, they call it a singing jar. It's like, let's say, I think it's a Ming or Tang dynasty na the jars. Yung mga heirloom jars na
Yes.
from the olden times. And if nadadaanan daw siya ng hangin, it whistles or it sings. But it has to have the right amount of rice wine or water.
Okay.
Ngayon, when it used to contain rice wine eh. So every time daw madaanan siya ng dun sa Highlands, sumisipol siya,
Yes.
happy siya. It's been like that for like how many generations? 3 or 4 generations. It's like siguro 50 or more years, 100 years. Eventually, the family sold the jar to her. She sold it, and it's been brought abroad.
Okay.
Nung daw it was brought abroad, syempre it was emptied out.
Yes.
Wala na yung rice wine. The jar started cracking daw doon. And it no longer whistled. Eh yung main na attraction niya why it
Kasi
was
may
sold for a
whistle,
high price was it was whistling every time madadaanan siya ng...
Oo.
Tapos, it made a different sound daw. Tas,
Moan na.
Yeah, it was making a different sound. And then, si auntie, the antique dealer said na, ibalik mo na lang. Bayaran ko ulit sa'yo.
Oo.
Ibigay mo sa akin, sabi niya.
Pero Philippines lang? Or
It was
abroad?
abroad.
Okay.
Ibalik mo na lang, sabi niya. Just give it back. I'll pay you back whatever. And then, maybe a little more for your effort to bring it back. Sabi niya, it's not happy with you. It will bring you misfortune, sabi niya. Malas lang yan. Kasi yun, the jar before was not just a lalagyan ng rice wine. It's a sign of prestige.
Yes.
Aside from a sign of prestige, siguro rough na lang natin, it's for good luck or for prosperity.
Yes.
That's why we keep a lot of those things sa bahay. It's like now when you see Chinese dealers, they always pag dumadaan kasi ako, alagang bahay ang tawag nila. The big jars which has no use at all, alagang bahay yan, sabi niya. What do you mean? Sabi ko na ganun. They keep it around. One, to show how much money you have.
Yes.
And two, for prosperity, sabi niya. Parang ganun din yung take up ni auntie for the So if it's no longer whistling, it's already giving you a bad sound, it will not bring you, just give it back, sabi niya. We'll find a home for it.
So when she got it back, hindi niya na ginamit for whistling?
Sabi niya, sinabi daw nung jar sa kanya na Nasanay kasi siya ng rice wine.
Pinapakain dapat.
Yeah, and it was no longer given any kasi there's no rice wine na made from the Highlands dun sa United States. So, kinargahan niya ulit and she brought it back home. It's with her until now.
Grabe.
The most successful na antiquities dealers or those who collect, pa sa akin the people na I know, like the husband niya, he passed away at 103 years old.
103?
Yes. People always tell you na parang, I mean, sa mga hindi na nagaganito kasi may may inaalagaan yan na kaya swerte. It's like the sigbin, kumbaga dun sa Meron din silang mga sinasabing ganun sa amin. Nag-aalaga kasi yan ng they cannot pinpoint what it is.
Yes.
Pero sasabihin may alaga kasi yan. 103 years old. And the guy made his living through selling antiquities. Highland, specifically just Highland antiquities. Pero very well versed siya. Kasi he's also
Pero
native.
lowlander siya or native?
He's also native. And then talagang siguro he made it his life passion to do collecting and then dealing.
Ikaw kung meron pumunta dito, would you say the same thing na if it resonates or if bumulong sa'yo or if more of it resonates with you?
There's some things I don't sell to some people.
Talaga?
Something
Okay.
like that.
So parang minsan, pag feel mo hindi bagay sa tao, hindi mo bibili?
Maybe.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't want to be responsible then for their
Yes.
parang ganun.
So, do you get that as an intuition or?
Parang, you cannot tell Parang my wife always ask me, bakit ayaw mo ibenta yan? Maganda naman yung offer na. Mahirap na Yun naman sabi ko, parang, ayoko namang sabihin nila na when they started taking that, biglang di-display sa bahay, tapos biglang hiwalay sila ng asawa nila. Ayoko ganun kasi
Correct.
when you have a gut feeling na parang wag na lang. May times kasi na when I was younger, I really needed money. When I was a little bit younger pa, I sold some things na parang, alam mo, hindi ka masaya.
Yes.
Kahit you made a lot of money, parang may regret ka na parang hindi mo dapat binenta. Meron naman yung parang halos lugi ka, pero gusto mo ibigay.
Okay.
Siguro para sa kanya talaga. Like there's some guys na I see na they always come here, I bought this from you. It's still with me. For how many,
Talaga?
Yeah. Those things na parang, siguro it's happy ka na nasa kanila din. Especially yung mga anting-anting, yung mga, there's some things na parang I don't want to offer din sa other people kasi parang siguro hindi yan bagay sa'yo, parang ganun. Hindi naman sa parang namimili ako ng tao, but generally, the rest of the products I have here, anybody can just buy it. But when it comes to parang medyo mas sensitive na although hindi naman siguro sa hardcore ako naniniwala, but the ones who I acquired from yung they really believe in it na minsan ibibilin din nila. Mag-ingat ka sinong pagbentahan mo or like, alam mo na.
Oo.
Parang ganun. I'm giving this to you, but I know you're gonna sell it, but find it a good home.
Ayun, oo.
Especially those have been transferred from many different generations,
Yes.
father, son, or grandfather to son again. Find it a good home. Yun yung mismong bili nila. I'll give it to you for but at least promise me to find a good home for it. Parang ganun.
So, meron ka mga anting-anting.
Here? I don't keep
okay.
that much here.
Hindi, na-curious lang ako. Kasi may mga kakilala akong ganon.
Some of the things kasi na like I acquired din will never see the light of day.
Parang personal collection.
Sa bahay na.
Oo.
I've seen some na sa collections ng mga, especially those who passed away na, ng mga seniors namin na dealers. They gladly show it naman yung mga kids na ito, galing kay Papa, ito, it's been in our family for almost like 70 years. He was, look at the photos, he already had this, he was still young, parang ganun. Mapayat pa siya he passed away, ang taba nun niya, parang ganun.
Yes, oo.
Ayun.
Nakita ko dito merong blades. Meron rin ba sa belief nyo na the blades could also house spirits or
Highland na it's not that yung blades, not that much, but there is something they call it's a cursing item, it's a cursing fetish. I'm not sure if it's the same name for all the in Ifugao it's called tudo. It consists of not necessarily a blade per se, something sharp. Bakal siya dapat, metal siya. But generally, blade na yun. And then siguro, let's say, a bit long naman. Not less than 5 inches naman nakikita ko It's a half a foot siguro of a blade. And then they tie it, they bind it with the rattan along with a caiman. It's like a small crocodile.
Okay.
Native siya na ano dito. Some I've seen with a caiman, the blade, on top is a caiman, sometimes a dog, or a skull ng Philippine macaque, the native natin na ano. I see it sometimes sa mga the old houses, yung mga parang huts pa. But I've seen some in modern houses. I've actually seen one in a shop. So the tudo, it's a curse fetish item. It's used to curse yung offending tribe, offending person, or offending party. The blade, it has to be pointed. Nakaturo dapat siya kung nasaan yung kalaban. It's supposed to parang bring misfortune, bad luck, or to
Wherever
help
it's
you get
pointing
your
at.
revenge. It is mostly done out of revenge, out of spite. Ganun siya. So, kung saan siya nakaturo, generally speaking, yes.
So, yung sa shop sa nakaturo? Sa customer?
Sa kabila. Sa
Ah,
kabilang ano. But the kabila kasi is not a dealer in, they do antiques but they don't do native na ano, they do more western na ano. Nakaturo siya, tapos for sale, sabi ko, of course it's not for sale. He had it made. He had it made. Imagine, he had it made. A cursed fetish. I respect din yung ano niya. I do not judge him.
Yes.
Siguro malalim din yung ano, galit sa isa't isa. Sabi niya, ikaw lang nakapansin dyan. Sabi niya. Eh, siyempre sabi ko, if you do these things with yung native antiquities, you know that thing. It's been described in books, in catalogs, kung ano yan. Tapos yun nga, he had it done. He had it made. So it was consecrated. Imagine. And or the modern times yun. It's like, siguro 2010 onwards. It's not even olden times. It's not archaic times. It's not pre-war or whatever. I saw it fairly recently. It's like 2010-ish, 20-something, 2009 siguro. I actually wanted to explore a lot of things na dun sa amin, sa Highlands. But sometimes kasi, hindi naman siya taboo. But, you know, people refuse to talk about it.
Yes.
I asked why. Mas matatanda sila sa atin. I asked why. Why don't we talk about it? Naniniwala ba kayo? Walang sumasagot. Or natatakot ba kayo na dahil sometimes kasi we have this thing where if you keep talking about it, it might turn out to be real. Yung parang
real.
the more people who believe in I was asking, sabi ko kasi, we have hindi naman siya urban legend. Siguro urban legend among us na
Yes.
mga nag-ano. Na,
Sa antique
oo. Bakit hindi na conquer ang Highlands? It's because of the fog, sabi ng isang ganun. Eh, paano? Explain it to me, sabi ko ng ganun. Bakit kaya hindi talaga, basically it was easy for the lowlanders and then the Spanish to conquer the Highlands kasi, I mean, no offense I'm a native eh. We didn't have enough manpower to defend.
Ah, okay.
And we didn't have weapons. We had,
Walang weapons. Pero spear,
siguro, yeah, but one clan probably had 4 spears. Na the reason why it has a socket is you can use it as a knife for your meat. At the same time, kung wala ka
so
talaga
multi-use,
choice, ilalagay mo sa magiging spear siya. Kasi wala namang metallurgy nung time na yun. Tsaka the bakal, we had gold but we didn't have steel and then the rest. You have to buy it from the lowlands. So what protected the Highlands? It was the fog, sabi namin na gano'n. Paano? Sabi ko na gano'n. What if, sabi nung isang crazy din siya, but maganda yung naman, it's just thinking about it na mga what if. What if, during the olden times, they made sacrifices for the fog to come at the right time, at the right place. What if lang naman? Just thinking lang naman na gano'n. Kasi 300 years, really, hindi man lang nila I mean, imagine, anong technology namin noon? Wala namang kaming kanyon. They had cannon, they already had guns, I think 1800, they had muskets eh. We had shields which were made out of wood.
Yes.
Useless yun, di ba?
Sabog.
We were not fighting people with spears anymore and we were fighting people with swords and then muskets. 300 years. So what if it was the fog, sabi niya. Sabi ko, sige nga, isipin na natin, paano yung mechanics naman ng sabi niya. Di ba ang belief set before sa Highlands, it's not up and down, unlike now. It's side by side. The spirits are here with
Oh,
us.
yes.
There's no such thing as up and down.
Yes, oh.
They're here.
They're here.
It's just, you can't see them. But you can actually call them. Hence the gong. The purpose of the gong sa amin sa Ibaloy is to call the spirits. But you do not ring the gong if wala kang i-offer na karne. Kasi kukunin ka daw, parang something like that. What if noon, the reason why they did yung kanyaw or they did yung pagkatay is an offering for protection. Tapos, dahan-dahan, nawala nila yung thinking na yun. It evolved into something else. Kasi culture is dynamic naman. It always changes depending on yung influence. What if napalitan? Dahan-dahan napalitan. Hanggang nakalimutan nila yung parang how it used to be. Kaya dahan-dahan nakapasok din, naka-encroach, hanggang na-conquer na yung bundok. Possible din, sabi ko na gano'n. Tapos, nung bata kami, what if, sabi nila gano'n, there's this place kasi sa Luwakan, puro puno siya. It's basically still a mountain when we were young. It's still foresty. Ewan ko, chismis lang or maraming nawawalang mga tao.
Sa Luwakan.
It's very foggy.
Oo.
What if the fog is angry and taking back yung parang nag-break kayo ng agreement. What if you make offerings of meat, we bring the fog. Tapos you forget
Tapos
about
nag-stop
it.
kayo.
I'm just gonna take your kids. Sabi ng ganun. What if, sabi namin ng ganun, they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to dwell about it. Let's just not dwell about this. But yun na kwento kasi, it's been, they always tell it as a joke. Yung parang urban legend or myths na not real, sabihin na. It's just pang comics lang, parang ganyan, pang kwento-kwento lang. Pero pag naging seryoso ng usapan, ayaw na nila. So I'm guessing, some kasi,
Yes, there's some
they also
truth to it.
hear stories, they also hear stories about it, and then they don't want to acknowledge. Kasi it's like once you acknowledge, it might
Becomes
come true.
real.
Yeah. It's like when they took Apo Adno, para siyang native priest. He was set atop the mountain. Then here it's sa Benguet. They took him and sold him. They returned him recently, and then now he's housed na talaga, as in para siyang nakakulong na. But he was set atop the mountain to watch over yung. He passed away na, he'd already died, but they mummified him.
Okay.
Yung tattoos na kasi are heavily tattooed siya. So I'm guessing Apo Adno most likely siguro Spanish era pa siyang mummy.
Okay.
Early Spanish era kasi he still had complete tattoos from fingers to yung yung legs niya. At the time ng wala nang tattoos nung the Spanish came nung mga 1800s, 1850s. Wala
1850s wala. Sa area
I'm
niyo?
guessing
Oo.
Kasi if you try reading yung mga
Sorry.
they will mention yung they will mention tattooed men always Like when they did Visayas, tattooed men, sabi nila pintados
Oo nga.
But when they went to Benguet, dun sa La Trinidad Valley, they only mentioned the natives of. They did not say the heavily tattooed natives of, the heavily armed with weapons. Wala So I'm guessing when they already met, wala nang tattoo. So si Apo Adno most likely was a more older na is a mummy.
How long siya nagstay doon as parang protection?
That we don't know.
Okay.
Kasi na siya he's real, at the same time, part siya ng myth.
Oo.
But he's a real,
Yes.
kasi andun yung katawan niya
Andun yung katawan.
But part siya ng myth ng creation nung syempre every province tries to claim na he came from
Yes,
Bugyas.
uh-huh.
No, tiga-Bakon siya. He just married into your No, sabi naman nung Ifugao, Tinok yan. Ifugao siya. Pumunta lang siya dyan sa inyo, nakapangasawa ng Hindi, sabi naman isa, first wife na dito, second wife, third wife yung sa inyo. Kasi everybody wants to trace back your ancestry
Yes,
to parang naging more than a man, naging myth na siya But they took him and sold him. And then doon nag-start yung parang siguro, yun na nga yung kwento na dahan-dahan na invade na yung mga But he was returned kasi cultural property siya.
Kailan siya na-return?
Recently, I think fairly recently.
Wow.
2000s onwards.
Oo.
Recently lang, it's been a long time kasi kinuha siya, I think, after World War II. I'm not quite sure with the dates and everything, but he was taken after the war, I think. And then sold. But they brought him back. Siya? It's a sitting mummy. Even dun sa another story why they say na nawala na yung protection nung sa amin naman dun sa Baguio. Yung tinatawag ng Santo Tomas ngayon, yung kung nasan yung radar.
Oh, yeah,
Yung,
okay.
It's one of the highest points sa Baguio. Before, atop that mountain were the mummies. We don't even know kung sinong families yung mga yun.
But they
sabi
were
nun,
there, oo.
Dad ko, most likely, yan yung ancestral
Yes.
natin. They were all taken one by one until they all vanished. Nobody even knows. He already passed away, it's okay. There's this one photographer, Japanese, Mr. Kobayashi, who was able to take snapshots during the 80s or 90s.
Before they were all
Before
disappeared.
one lang ang
okay.
nakuha na. It's actually already in transit. Nakasako na. He begged the guy to take a photo and paid. Nakasako na siya. Tinanong niya, where is it from? Santo Tomas, sabi niya. Siyempre, guy is filled with regret. He was a photographer first when he came here, and then he fell in love with yung Philippines. Started collecting and taking photos whenever he can. Yun ang clear proof, isa sa mga clear na proof na there were mummies there.
Yes.
He took a photo of it. He
Oo.
turned into a postcard.
Oh.
I'm actually looking for those yung set na mga yun.
Oo.
There were already talks about it noon na why Baguio City lost its parang kasi
Protection.
they took all the mummies.
Oo, no?
And the mummies, they were there, they mummify because they were a respected elder. And then at the same time, it's for protecting the community. Kaya nga nasa pinakatuktok
Yes,
nakikita mo lahat
Oo, nakabantay.
yung mga anak mo, yung mga apo mo, yung properties mo nandun. And once they take them, wala na. It's up to the people to defend themselves. With what? We do not have guns.
Oo nga. May question ako, Carlo. Pag may nakukuha ka ba, kasi meron akong nakausap na mahilig siya, hindi man siya mahilig sa antiques. Basta nakwento niya lang, she collected antiques. Parang sometimes daw, she would bathe it under the sun before ipasok sa house. May, alam ka bang mga ganun ba?
You know, what I do with the personally extracted from yung provinces sa amin. Sa amin daw sa akin,
Yes,
pag me and my wife is Catholic.
Okay.
I'm also,
Also,
Catholic.
okay.
But
Parang- Sorry, natawa ko doon.
we bathe them actually in beer, gin, whatever I have it at
Painom.
home. Or
Oo.
I actually have gin dito sa shop.
Okay. So, para pag may nakuha ka,
Ano lang naman siya, Diyos ko, magkano lang gin, no?
Oo.
Wala nang mawawala sa'yo.
yes, totoo.
Pero yung mga iba kasi ayaw nila, kasi masisira yung pati na babala, wala na ganun na ako nag-umpisa. Sabi ko, ever since I started dealing, if it's personally purchased na hindi dinala sa akin ng parang, hindi ko
mo alam yung direct
kakilala.
source. Oo, oo.
Nabuhos ako ng gin yan, tapos tanungin mo lang, kausapin mo lang na ganun lang. And then, syempre, background check, kasi kung galing sa patayan, I'd not touch it. I don't, bad luck, as in super duper bad luck. Like yung mga anting-anting na galing sa patay, yung native ones, yung kiwil, yung sa amin. They bury it with the dead, so I don't like taking it. Some of the beads, yung antique beads, kahit gaano kaganda, if they cannot tell me exactly kung sinong lola nila o tita mong pinanggalingan, I won't take it kasi it might have been from the dead.
Yes. Oo.
It's bad luck, taking from the dead.
Oo.
I don't like doing that. Like, each and every one, I know the stories.
Okay.
Like this lady,
Oo.
um,
Okay na siya. Picture ko po kayo. Dali, sige.
this lady, I acquired this na through yung runner na friend ko sa Baguio City na. So, ako yung endpoint na, it's here with me now. There's my runner. It's been with him for quite some time then. He took it from his uncle. It's been with him for a long time. Ito lang, the female one.
Oo.
The uncle took it from, yung anak nung nagpagawa.
Okay.
So, they're male-female eh.
Okay.
So, kinuha niya isa.
Isa. Oo.
Female. And then, so pang 5 na ako na may
Yes.
hawak nito. So, you can trace back yung parang pedigree, so to speak, or lineage kung saan nanggaling. Para sa akin, it's important to tell them where it came from din eh. Para wala kang kaba na, bringing something home na it's being used in rituals. Hindi rin biro yan. Some, they don't really care, but I tell them, this came from blah, 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 ganito, ganyan. I don't even know them. No, I'm just telling you, so you know. In case something comes up,
So,
you can go to the next person and ask what's parang
so the fact na ginagawa mo yun, assumption to, the fact na ginagawa mo yun, there have been cases that some stuff has been returned na parang, parang may nangyayari.
Not with me.
Okay.
Not with me, but
With others.
meron, oo. Especially those who sell in high volume. I know those guys who sell in high volume eh. Like a lot talaga.
So ano yung mga may share ka bang kwento nung mga nabalik na alam mo without naming names, of course.
Without naming names. Ma-identify sila eh.
Okay, wag
Kasi
na,
very
wag na.
precise eh.
Okay, wag na. Pero something to do with some sort of hunting or may malas na nangyari.
It's mostly kasi misfortune eh.
Misfortune,
But syempre yung dealer, if there's a dealer na not every dealer naman has the same belief parang ako or yung mga kakilala ko. Some will treat it as a business lang talaga, buy and sell. Hindi. Walang malas, walang swerte. By chance lang talaga na naputulan ka ng paa mo at nabasag ito at wala rin yung paa niya. Parang ang ganun. By chance lang yan. Coincidence. It's like 1 in a million coincidence. Parang ganun. But coincidence lang yan. Sabi nyo ganyan.
Grabe.
Kaya for me, I don't take chances na, kumaga. Kasi matagal pa kasi negosyo to eh. Malayan pa ng mga anak ko to eh. Nandiyan pa yung kapatid ko, nakikidilid sa akin, yung misis ko, yung family. Some of the guys I've known, 3 or 4 generations na silang in the business eh. So, if you want to stick around, you really have to delve into everything.
You have to respect yung
Bihira ka naman makakita, but there are still some, yung high volume rollers na who really take everything consign, sell. Not knowing na this is stolen, this is from the Santos alone. There was this one, it's okay to talk about it kasi it was seen on TV eh.
Yes.
They were doing a show, antiques show in one of the malls. Siyempre, kukunan yan. Isang parokyano nung somewhere sa Visayas, nakita niya, yan yung nawawalang patron namin.
Yes.
They identified the anak na siya actually nung dealer. Second generation na yung tatay pa na yung nakabili. So hindi na nila, patay ng tatay niya. Patay na rin most likely nagbenta sa kanya. Wala siyang choice. Binalik niya para hindi ka mapahiya. Binalik niya doon sa community, doon sa church. Sometimes ko nga ganyan. Then I don't want to delve about how the deaths happen na, but sometimes lang, pag nabaliw ka rin na think about it, na pag trinay mo pag 1 plus 1, it equals 2. Like, but I don't want to think about it that much na siguro kasi manatakot ka masyado na mag-purchase. Sometimes din sa pagbili, palakasan ng loob talaga.
Oo.
You have to be armed with knowledge para malakas yung loob mo na bumili. Yeah.
Gaya ng, may example ganun. Sa bulol lang ba or sa ibang native?
Bulol na lang siguro. Mas marami ako na-encounter ng ganyan eh. Again, experience ko lang. Hindi naman, wala ka naman masabing 100% expert in anything. It is born out of my experience lang. A bulol was offered to me, a pair, complete pair. Para sa akin kasi,
So usually pair talaga siya?
pair kasi siya ginagawa eh.
Okay.
Para sa akin kasi makareceive ng pair out of nowhere, medyo unusual. Late na ako in the game doing this business eh. Late na ako na bihira ka na makakuha ng pair. Usually, parang ito, pinamana na lang eh. By chance mo na nakuha. Pair siya. Ngayon, ang isang issue ko dun, inaamoy ko siya. Hinahawakan ko.
Inaamoy mo? Okay.
Hinahawakan ko.
So ganun yung process mo
Sabi ko,
usually?
Parang fresh pa yung fresh pa yung blood, fresh pa yung rice, fresh pa yung rice wine, fresh pa lahat. Masama na kutob ko dito eh. Sabi ko na ganun. Kasi these were made, one for protection of the granary, and then for prosperity and for yung non-failure of yung crops mo. What if it failed?
Okay.
And then they're selling to you because they want to get rid of it. And then you will graciously take it. Mawawala na sa kanila yung malas. Sabi ko sa sarili ko, hindi, fresh pa to eh. Sabi ko, hinahawakan ko. Bago to eh. Kakagamit lang. Siguro wala pang 1 buwan.
Okay.
Ginaganon ko, parang pag gano'n ko sa lasang dugo pa siguro to, tsaka rice wine eh.
Oo.
Sabi ko sa sarili ko, ang ganda na pagkagawa. But it took me some time. I was thinking about it. Sabi ko, pwede ba kayong bumalik? Kain muna kayo. Kasi wala akong dalang pera, sabi ko. Baka mamaya pa yung pera ko eh. Wala
Saan to? Dito to? Or sa ibang?
Sa Baguio.
Baguio.
Sabi ko, wala pa yung misis ko. Siya kasing manager, siya yung boss eh. Wala akong dalang pera. Pero message, iti-text ko na siya. Balik kayo, mga alauna after lunch, sabi ko. Pinag-isipan ko mabuti, actually. Ayoko na magtanong at magkonsulta sa iba. Kasi parang personal ko na lang siguro. Kinausap ko sarili ko. At sabi ko, fresh na fresh talaga yung dugo. Wag na lang. Baka mamaya, failed na ritual yon at binibenta sa'yo para ma-dispose nila at
Papasa nila. Yes.
Oo, pinapasa nila. I refused. Kahit gaano kaganda, kahit gaano kababa yung offer, kahit alam kong kikita ako, wag na lang. Medyo suspicious eh, yung pag mo eh. Kasi parang they want to transfer it talaga eh. Parang gusto na talagang i-transfer na ibigay sa'yo. Hindi ko kinuha. Ewan ko na kung ano nangyari doon. Kung saan man nila na-ibenta. Siguro there's probably other unwitting na na would think of the profit and really buy it.
Oo.
I don't know. I didn't take it.
Oo. So in a way, logical naman yung approach mo. And I guess intuition mo in a way na kung kukunin mo nga o hindi. Yung ginamit mo. Oo.
Just like yung mga ibang anting-anting, they sell it to you. Tapos sasabihin nila, sa pamilya namin yan, ganito, ganyan.
Paano mo na-verify pa ganun? Or parang, pricing na lang parang...
Yun, telltale sign. There's no concrete way, but telltale sign kasi minsan yung pricing. Sabi kasi nila, meron yung mga ibang items na kahit sinira mo, hindi mawawala yung malas. Kailangan mong ipasa yung malas. Yung item plus yung malas.
Yes.
So if it's consecrated and it did not work, it will be with you. So you have to get rid of it some way. Eh yun, kahit destroyed item, it's just the vessel.
Yes.
The thing, whatever
It's
is still with you. Hindi mo nang pwedeng patayin sarili mo. Totally malas yun. So you have to transfer it to a guy willingly na who will take it. Minsan nagbe-base ako sa price eh. Too good to be true. Most likely, there's something na you will pay in a different way.
Yes,
Parang ganun. So yun, para sa akin. Hindi ako detracted by yung high price. Kasi I understand sometimes yung
quality
kung
naman.
saan siya
Yes.
pasa-pasa na eh. Galing pa talaga sa mismong in situ doon sa place hanggang sa Metro Manila. I'd understand yung pamasahe and everything. But if sabihin nilang galing pa sa probinsya to, like the one ay in-offer sa akin sa Baguio, nang galing pa sa doon daw mismo sa family na sa barangay. Bakit of all, ako pa ang napuntahan mo sa Baguio City, maraming pang dealer noon, mas big time pa. At bakit parang yung offer niya parang ang baba? Sabi niya siguro, iniisip niya, most likely this guy is the least na mag-investigate or least na knowledgeable sa kakagatin niya to. At may bibigay ko sa kanya whatever yung misfortune ko, parang ganun.
Ito, curious question lang. Meron ka na ba nakuhang feeling mong may malas, tapos binaon mo or dinispose mo in some way? Personal? Wala.
Sa pa lang, sa shop door pa lang, parang minsan sa tao pa lang makikita mo na eh. Yeah, I've seen some guys na letting go, especially when we deal with fetishes and then yung mga anting-anting, na medyo unang pa lang, medyo sablay na eh. There's something wrong with yung parang siguro you've seen a lot, if you see a lot of people, you buy and sell with a lot of people,
You get
medyo
that,
nafe-feel mo na eh.
May shorthand ka na.
Oo. Yung mga tipong ayaw tumingin sa'yo.
Oo.
Yung mga ganun. Or parang tinatago yung sige na. Sige na. Kaya ganun. Sometimes I miss out on yung parang very rare, very good items. Pero iniisip ko rin na siguro hindi para sa akin. Kung hindi ko rin lang ma-handle yung parang yung kung ano man yun.
Baggage nun.
Some people siguro they can handle it, take care of it, and they can pass it on very quick. They make good money. Good for them. But for me, sa akin siguro, I'm not the type na sabihin mo masyadong malakas yung loob na I will take something na known or something na may kutob ako na mali at yung maipapasa ko kaagad. Baka hindi ko kayang gawin. And what will happen to me, what will happen to my wife? Sabi ko na ganun sa sarili ko. Pero lang yan, pwede mong kitain na the next day. Kaya hanap na lang ng ibang item, parang ganun. Takot siguro, natatakot din ako. Especially now, they can just tell you na galing kay Lola yan eh.
Oo.
Diba? Tapos niya sinabi, si Lola pala, by the way pagkaalis na si Lola pala, nangkukulam. Diba? As I always trace yung family din. Like when I buy ritual items, sometimes yung mga ritual items ng Highland ritual items can only be done by those na medyo may pera, kumbaga.
Yes.
Kasi you have to slaughter a pig. Hindi rin biro yung process. So if you see the guy na, hindi naman sa ginajudge mo kagad, but you do judge dapat eh. Walang kakayanan na mag-ganon. It's either
malamang
stolen or talang bad luck yan. Kaya I just refuse to take.
Lahat ba ng stuff mo here is from the north? Or parang you also buy antiques na hindi ko alam kung may ibang
Yung mga gamit dito, halo-halo na eh. But yung main ko talaga, I mean my main income, my main business, yung parang main na interest ko, aside from the rest, would be yung Highland na native na parang, close to my heart siguro kasi yun kinalakihan ko. I grew up seeing yung mga ganyan sa antique shop. So talagang, yan din, parang, siguro nung bata ako, di ko gusto. Ngayon,
Appreciate mo na.
part ng childhood ko eh. Part na rin ng
okay.
adult life ko. I acquired naman from I basically acquire from mostly good people talaga na kakilala ko din. Or yung mga runners, mga dealers na been dealing din. Or they've been dealing din with yung mga seniors namin. So, may trust, naman. Minsan lang talaga may mga walk-in, yun kailangan mo salain. Kaya, I always tell my wife, don't buy anything weird pag wala ako. You buy the money, it's fine. The coins, it's fine. The paper bills, it's fine. You buy the postcard. But don't buy ritual items. Don't buy personal effects. Yung mga anting-anting, kahit yung mga swako. Especially if it's used na old. Yung pipes.
Okay.
Some of the pipes kasi, meron sa parang tattoos. Balog ang tawag namin doon. Naka-inscribe doon yung parang persona na ng tao.
Yes.
Kung ilan ang rice fields niya, naka-inscribe doon. Yan ang fruit-bearing trees yung naka-inscribe doon. So if nawala yon, 3 punong mangga, or hindi ng mangga, siguro parang gano'n na lang. Tapos 4 na rice fields, tapos meron siyang 2 anak. Si ano to? They'll give it back.
Babalik nila.
I cannot smoke with it kasi personal effect nung parang gano'n. So yun, sabi ko sa kanya, you cannot just take yung mga, kahit pa the price is right, price is good, and then you can decide. Sabi ko, don't buy, yung mga non-daily,
Oo.
So I avoid those things.
May na-mention si JP before, meron kayo yung about Henry William Scott. Parang maganda yung...
Which one?
Yung...
yung sinabi mo before na yung...
hindi talaga siya... Mas
yung
salesman
line
siya.
sa yung standing na bulol, and then yung sitting, sinabi niya na standing is sa north, sitting is sa
Si
south.
Mr. Bayer?
Ayun, and Bayer.
Bayer.
The idea kasi, again, it's general knowledge ito. It's already been talked about.
Okay.
Hindi tayo ang first time, hindi ako ang first time magsabi. And you can find the literature in other na the concept kasi nung bulol na may standing, may sitting, may dancing, the one with the bowl. The first one who came up with the idea na it's classified via sub-province ba? Parang divisions ng geographical pa lang. Na parang ang Banawe ay sitting, ang standing ay hapaw, parang ganun. Came from Mr. Bayer. Si William, if I'm not mistaken, si William yun. Hindi yung tatay niya, hindi si Otley. Okay. Si William yun eh. It could hold kasi one, anak siya ni Gambuk. He's from a family na medyo mataas ang standing sa Ifugao. Okay. And then, syempre, yung dad niya ay si Filipino anthropologist, yung father, Filipino anthropology na si Otley. Sabi niya, you can classify them basing on yung structure na how it's made, kung saan siya nanggaling na probinsya. You can tell din based on yung ilong, like this one. This is called a tinagiling. Matangos siya.
Okay.
These can never be pre-Spanish. They can, pre-American. Hindi siya 1800s, hindi siya 1890s. This phenomenon, yung matangos yung ilong, native sarat eh.
Oh yes, oo nga.
Siguro tayo, nahaluan na tayo kaya... But generally speaking, ang bulol din, flat yung mga yun. This one matangos. Yes. This one, around the turn of the century, siguro 1903 to 1910, the Americans started coming dun sa Highlands, sa Dirich Ifugao. They came bearing good gifts kasi they brought tobacco, they brought seeds for planting, education, medicine. This specific na person, si Tagiling, nakita niya sila, sabi niya, this must be good spirits, good gods, sabi niya. So in likeness doon, ginawa niya lahat ng bulol niya na matangos ang ilong. Sabi niya, they must be yung old na nating ancestors coming back in different form. Ganito pala siguro sure natin. Yun yung isa na ma-verify natin na distinction sa bulol. Yun yung masasabi ko na ma-verify talaga na from then on, naging matangos lahat ng gawan tagiling at yung mga tinagiling na ang tawag ngayon eh. It's a specific style. Yan ma-verify natin na it started lang around 1910s onwards. Ngayon, this is the catch kasi. It's not that we are parang kinukontra natin yung sinasabi ni Mr. Bayer, but this one is a standing.
Yeah.
tinagiling siya, matangos ilong niya. If tagiling came from, let's say, a specific area, kung standing to hapaw, for example, bakit may tinagiling na sitting down?
Okay.
Would it be from Banawe, but tinuruan ni Tagiling? Why would he teach? Why would he have an apprentice not from his hometown, but from another hometown? From another area. Parang ganun. Bakit? So, dyan na medyo magko-contradict. This one, we can more or less prove kasi ito. Kasi Tagiling was a real person eh.
Okay.
They have accounts of him. They've been writing about it. Not in solid books naman, but in siguro mga dealer context. They know about it. They can tell you more than me. But yung kay Mr. Bayer na it's a bit na bakit siya nakaupo.
Yes.
Ngayon we have stories kasi which came out more recent na yung mythology na story about yung bulol. Originally daw, they told the Wigan to carve them sitting para hindi daw sila mapagod na nakakatayo, na nagbabantay. So they're sitting down. So, yun? Sabi ko na gano'n. Is it just yung Banawe? Bakit nakatayo yung iba? Yung iba in dynamic motion pa nga, slightly bent eh.
Yes. Oo nga.
Di ba? Yung iba dancing pa nga eh. Ayun, the ideology came from Mr. Bayer. Siguro he tried to make sense of the different na nakita niya. And he tried to pinpoint siguro, I'm guessing, based on yung gano'ng kadami ang nakikita na. He probably saw in Banawe that there are more sitting. So sabi niya, if it's sitting, this is Banawe. If it's standing, this is most likely hapaw. If the one with the bahag, it's most likely somewhere else. The one with the bowl is most likely from Mayoyaw. But after nun kasi wala nang kumontra sa kanya. Kasi sinong kukontra kay kay William Bayer? Tatay niya is Otley, plus nanay niya is si Gambok. Hindi hardcore na Ifugao yan. You cannot But recently kasi we've been doing a lot of talks, a lot of let's say when you get the wood, do you get the wood fresh, yung nara, or do you get it? Can it be recycled wood? Ang early na thinking, early literature would say na they will select the wood doon sa forest. Tatagain yan. Titignan kung dudugo siya ng parang tao na red. At pipili sila.
Sa wood? Titignan sa wood kung
It has to be a selected na kahoy ng Mumbaki, ng Baki. And then they bring it down to the village and make the carving ritual hanggang sa matapos to the end. But
Gano'ng katagal yung ritual?
yan ang hindi ko masabi.
Okay,
I haven't really experienced and saw the but I think it takes quite some time eh. Rough estimate ko, before they read muna eh, magbabasa ka muna ng liver ng manok, and then they see when's the right time to take. Is it this day? Is it after so I'm guessing it'll take like siguro 3 days to read.
Okay.
And they chop the tree mano-mano eh.
Oo.
So yun pa lang pag-chop siguro, it'll take you a week, and then they bring it down dun sa sa village. The carver, I've seen people carving. The master carver carves really fast. 2 days tapos na yan.
Wow.
Master yun eh.
Paano yung polishing nila?
It gets polished via the ritual.
Okay.
Mano-mano yun, na they do it. Rough estimate, I think it will take you a month, maybe. And then hanggang sa matapos siya. But prior to this, you need to make the box muna. You need to make the spoon. You need to make yung bowl.
Yes.
All the paraphernalia for the rituals bago mo magawa ito. So, siguro sa buwan?
Oo.
Or more.
Grabe.
Ganun siya.
Sorry, na-cut kita doon. So, you were saying na parang recently you were doing something na...
Recently, may isa in the academe, he was doing research about what if the wood can actually be recycled wood. Paano yan, sabi ko. And then, I got, naalala ko, I was reminded of the ones na nakuha ng Spanish. There are Spanish na wood figures, yung bulol, which were brought in Spain. Sabi nila, they were taken early. Spanish era daw, mga 1850s. And they're in Spain. And then they have the documents to prove everything. Hindi nag-crack. Hindi siya nagka-crack eh. Generally, any mid-hardwood like Nara will crack.
Yes.
This guy cracks eh. Hardwood yan eh. It's not even that old. It's probably 70, 60 years old. It's starting to crack. So, could it be, sabi niya na, that's cured wood? Yung pinadry muna bago kinarve. Kasi I have experience with that eh. If you go to the, kahit sa Asin Road, doon sa Baguio City, they will always tell you na, linuto namin yan. Na-treat yan, napainitan, natanggal na all the moisture.
Yes.
Before namin, kinarve,
Oo.
and then we made the figure for you, parang ganun. To ensure na hindi na magka-crack yan. Kasi if you use a freshly cut, then you actually trim it down.
Yes, oo.
Nandiyan pa yung moisture niya. So eventually mag-evaporate yan. Given yung mga yung mga ganito dito mabibiyak yan. Dito, sa singit niya, mabibiyak ulit yan, sa gitna. So sabi niya, possible kaya nang gumagamit sila ng recycled na wood. Yun, dun dumarating yung namin na, sabi kasi yung researcher na yun from the academe, hindi important actually yung kahoy. Kung ano man itsura. Ritualistic speaking, ay importante ay yung ritual. Tsaka yung matawag mo na titira.
Oo.
Kung gusto ba niyan, titirahan niya. Pero generally, hindi siya aayaw dahil, hindi matangos masyado eh. Kulang sa ilong. Hindi siya mamimili ng ganun. Ang requirement niya is,
Yung ritual.
oo, yung baboy andyan ba?
Oo.
Yung rice wall andyan ba? Yung rice enough ba? Yung mga tao bang
Kasama doon sa-
oo, nandyan ba sila lahat? Yung buong clan ba nandyan? Kasi kung kulang yan ng 5, ayokong pumunta. Kulang yung audience ko. Parang ganun. Yun ang hinahanap niya. Sabi niya, it is not yung itsura nung... It could be a poorly made na wood carving, but could still host yung spirit, yung ancestral spirit. Yun ang sabi niya. So sabi niya, it could be na pwedeng gumamit ng recycled na kahoy. Hence, yung mga nakikita natin na touted as talaga antiques, more than 100 years old, na buo pa rin, walang biyak,
Yes, walang
walang
crack,
matak,
so,
walang ano. But to verify, there would be nobody na who most likely survive nung age pa na yun, who could actually verify kung alin ang alin kasi tagal na eh.
Oo. Kasi mostly, technically, sa inyo, passing down ng information, oral tradition, hindi talaga na-record. So, ang hirap mong balikan if ever.
Yeah.
Oo.
That's where the tattoos come
Yes,
into play.
oo, the stories din.
Yeah.
Oo.
Kasi nandun sana siya. Mababasa mo sana yung buhay ng tao based on yung kung anong katayuan na noon, based on yung tattoos niya. Parang ganun.
Naisip ko lang, kasi may mga listeners rin na who collect antiques. May alam kong ilan nag-collect. Ay, nga. Ikaw nga. Kaya ka nga nakilala. So, dito si JP nagpakilala sa atin ni Carlo. So, dun sa iba na walang practice or walang belief, kunyari may bibilin sila antique, not necessarily from you or from somewhere else, meron ka bang i-advise sa kanila before you, ikaw yung binubuhusan mo nga eh. May iba ka bang alam na parang, pwede nyo gawin to for others na... Kasi may iba, to be honest, maraming natatakot bumili ng antique dahil nakikinig na sila sa podcast. Kasi, gaya na sabi mo, some people who pass away, their whatever emotion it is they had in this life, minsan nakakonect sa kung merong kwento na interior designer, may pinare-reupholster na bed sa kanila, hindi nila malabas sa bahay. 7 people na sila, pero going in, 3 people lang sila kasi parang napayagan na sila. Pero yun, so meron ka bang...
I actually have a story,
Ayan.
recent yan, na story namin. It was during the pandemic time, 2021 I think. I have a friend who weaves.
Okay.
During that time na kinommission namin siya to make a basket. It's a buntot na basket, binali. His grandmother passed away. Yung grandmother na yun, parang tumayo na nanay niya rin. Mahal na yan. Binabantayan na yung wake. Same time, tinatahi niya yung aking binali. Tinatahi niya.
Habang nasa wake.
Yeah. Hanggang sa linibing, ginagawa niya. May times na pag ginagawa mo yan, kasi Pino yung gusto ko natutusok siya ng kutsilyo niya.
So may blood.
Yes. At pag hinihiwa niya yan kasi, minsan kinahagat pa niya.
Oo.
So it's ingrained yung
Yes.
pawis niya.
Yes,
Literal
blood,
to,
sweat,
literal.
tears.
It's not yung literal na naka-ingrain
tears
yung
talaga
blood,
eh.
tears,
Oo.
and then yung niya. Ngayon, meron din nagpapakomission sa kanya. Runner din namin. Friend namin na nagdadala. By runner, I mean sila kasi yung mga literally yung tumatakbo.
Okay. Oo.
Tumatakbo talaga from the bundok pa as fast
Yes.
as they can to sell the item kasi they need to return the money back. Kaya runner ang tawag. Nakasanayan na namin. Yung runner namin na yun, yung friend namin na yun, nagpagawa din, nagpa-repair ng something sa kanya. Personal pa niya yun, pina-repair niya. Siyempre, nobody knows naman kung kailan mamamatay ang tao.
Yes.
Wait, namatay lang yung lola niya. Mahal na mahal niya. It's a very hard time for him. At the same time, to pass the time habang
Yes.
nasa burol, gumagawa
Naging
siya.
productive na lang siya.
Sabi sa akin nung kaibigan namin, yung nagpagawa din. Para nabalitaan mo ba yung kaibigan nating gumagawa? May nabanggit ba siya? Sabi niya. Wala, bakit? Sabi ko. Parang namatay daw yung lola niya. Ano ngayon? Sabi ko. Di ba nagpagawa ka? Sabi niya sa akin. Oo, sabi ko. Kukunin mo ba? Sabi niya sa akin. Bakit? Sabi ko naman. Siyang nag-explain sa akin. Hindi actually nag-cross sa
Yes,
isip ko. Sa akin yung pinapagawa kasi namin sa kanila, personal, it's not for selling. Itatago mo talaga. Parang sa kanya, part ng ano niya, ng ensemble ng
niya.
ano niya, ng get up niya.
Oo.
Hindi kaya naitahi niya dun sa basket mo yung hinanakit niya, bakit nawala yung family member niya, yung anguish, yung pain. Hindi kaya mabuhay dyan yung yung mismong yung feelings. Anong gagawin natin? Sabi ko, nakakahiya naman na
Oo nga.
bawiin.
Ginagawa na.
Nagawa na. Actually, malapit na matapos. Naka-down payment pa ako. Tapos namatayan pa, lang na hindi natin babayaran, sabi ko. Kinonsulta niya ngayon dun sa isang, hindi na siya Mumbaki kasi they don't exist anymore. Mixed na actually yung rituals is mixed ng Christian faith and then
Yes. Mix na in.
dasal na plus yung native na. Parang kumakatay ka ng manok at the same time. Amen.
Talaga?
Yes, it's mixed na. Ano na siya, talagang totally mixed na siya. Padasalan natin pare, sa paritwalan natin kahit konti. Paano yan? Sabi ko, anong mangyayari? Sabi ko nung ganun. In-entertain ko na yung thought kasi...
Kami, familiar ka naman. Oo.
In-entertain ko na yung thought na yun kasi basket ko yan eh.
Oo.
Tagal kong hinintay eh.
Oo.
Tapos sasabihan mo ako, may kasamang malas, naman ba naman ito, sabi ko. Pinunta niya doon sa kinatayan nila ng manok. Dinasalan ng
Pati kasama yung gamit niya.
yes, both of it. Siya nang pumunta actually para sa akin din. Kinatayan nila ng manok, dinasalan nila. Nakiusap sa na kung meron mang iniwan na kunin nyo na kasama nitong offering with the manok, sabi ng gano'n. Lininisan nila. Pinunas-punasan lang, parang iwan mo na dito yung Tapos sinama sa hukay nung feathers and everything, yung malas or yung feelings. Ayun, tapos nakuha namin. May hesitation pa rin na binenta ko. But it's been good with me for quite some time. Kasi lalagyan ko ng pera yun eh.
Okay. So ginamit mo rin naman.
Yeah, it was actually good. Siyempre nag-usap kami nung gumawa. Sa kanya rin, hindi niya naisip na...
Ay, gumawa, oo. Kasi
Hindi niya rin
syempre,
naisip.
going through grief yun.
Pero later on, kasi we're still close friends pa rin kami, na nasabi niya rin, oo nga, no. Sabi, dapat pala, hindi ko binigay yung mga yun, dapat pala iba. Kasi naisip niya rin na posible nga na tinatahi ko dun yung attachment ko dun sa at baka mapunta sa'yo yung masamang So sa akin, if you, siguro, one in 1,000 chances naman yun na mangyari. But if you find something na medyo uneasy ka, we all grow up naman with different na natin pamahiin natin, depending on circumstances. Like, sa akin, if I get something na you can make a little offering. Sa amin kasi,
offering.
it's always like yung alak eh, yung
Yes.
Even the spoons, pinapayaran ko yan ng alak.
Pero with that intention, parang pag
Yeah.
mo sa ito para sa inyo to.
Para sa inyo to, huwag niyong gambalahin whatever. Kung ano man kung may hinanakit man kayo sa nagbenta, parang don't worry, mapupunta kayo sa magandang
Pipilian
mamahalin pa rin kayo
Yes.
nung next na parang ganun. Kesa sunugin, parang
Yes. Oo nga.
kesa ganun. Ganun. Sa akin, that's why may gin ako dito somewhere. Bawal kasi makikita ng mall, but meron dyan, may 2x2 ako dyan.
Oo.
It's purposely to, even my wife, like, we do it together. Like, I put it in her hands. Ako muna, she puts it in my hands. Kasi kami dalawang humahawak at nagbibigay.
Yes.
Parang hindi pwedeng ako lang. Sa kanya, wala silang paniniwalang gano'n yun. Kaya nga sabi nung dad ko, nahawaan mo na yung misis mo ng native na rin sa sabi. But part ng ano namin yun eh, part ng buhay, part ng negosyo, part ng buhay. Ngayon, may an offering para sa akin. Yung si tita naman dun sa ano, she always tells me na kausapin mo pag gustong sumama sa'yo. Yun kasi medyo mahirap na ano, paano pag hindi sumagot? Gusto mo ayaw, parang ganun.
Pero, weird question. So, nagkaroon ka na ba ng gano'ng experience na something, I mean, not literally spoke to you, pero
Yeah.
na nag-connect?
Recently, I had a regret, 2021. Strapped kasi ako sa pera nun. Nag-renovate kami ng bahay, tsaka syempre ang daming
Yes,
yung loans namin, walang kita eh.
Oo.
Kasi walang export, walang
yes,
import, nothing. We were stuck in Baguio. Yun, renovation pa ng bahay na nabinbin. Everything na, there was the specific dalawang bulol na nakita ko doon sa Maharlika. Hindi siya, para sa akin, very attractive siya. My wife, hindi siya masyadong nag-share ng feelings. It was weird. I know it was not that old. Ano siya? Small. Tinanggiling siya, matangos yung ilong niya.
Okay.
I know it's new. I know it's most likely ritual once lang. Tapos, yung gumawa kasi, di ba ang usual, nakaganyan?
Oo.
Hindi, nakaganyan lang, o nakaganyan. Yun, nakatilt siya ng konti. This is like, one in like 1,000, nakatilt ng konting ulo niya towards yung palm. Kasi usually, nakaganyan lang. Tapos yung mata niya parang no feelings at all, or angry. Ito medyo English eh, bun na yan eh, angry. Yun, para siyang maliit yung mata niya. Nakaganon lang siya. Parang very calm. Tinanong ko, Madam, magkano? Ang mahal naman, sabi ko na gano'n. Grabe ka naman, wala pang sinasabi, mahal-mahal na eh. Sabi niya, alin dyan, yung dalawa eh. Dalawa yun, slightly different na positioning. It's male and female. Mas maliit yung isa yung female. Pareho sila nakaganon. Slightly tilt yung head. 15,000 each, sabi niya. Sabi ko, grabe ka naman. Sabi ko na gano'n. Umuwi ako, hindi ako makatulog. Hindi ako makatulog, as in, hindi ako makatulog. How many... Parang di ko nababanggit sa wife ko, kailangan kong bilhin. Dapat I need to buy this. Circumstances will not allow kasi first and foremost, yung pamilya ka.
Yes.
Yung mautang ko, yung shops namin, sinara na nga namin dahil talagang kinakain na kami ng upa. Hanggang sa nag-move na kami dito, sabi ko sa wife ko, I'll go back and buy it. I have enough money to buy that, sabi ko na ganun. Nasunog yung Maharlika. Do you heard about it?
Ay, hindi ko na balitaan yun.
Nasunog siya. May regret. Until now, napapanaginipan ko yun. Kaya nga sabi ko, magpapagawa na lang siguro ako. Yun lang ang nakita ko na nakatilt ng konting ulo niya. Yung mata niya maliit lang. As in, maliit lang mata niya, hindi ganyang kalaki. Maliit lang. Parang very calm. Very calm na siya. Nasunog sila. One of my biggest regrets. Although wala talagang magagawa to spend 30,000 at that time para sa akin, luho na yun eh. Hindi ko kaya noon. I had the money to do it, but I need to pay my utang first, my loans, and then yung rent and everything, backlog ng renta. Nung babalikan ko na siya, nasunog yun. Yan ang isang ko.
Sabi mo, wala ka namang ibang weird na dreams na...
Yun lang.
Okay.
Once in a while, nagpa-pop in pa rin siya sa akin.
Talaga?
Kaya parang siguro sabi ko sa sarili ko rin, I will most likely have one commission based on my...
Yes, baka nga yun.
Siguro, it's like, I don't know, probably telling me something another one was yung I recently acquired, recent lang din to, like Christmas time lang. Nakita ko siya sa isang shop ng friend ko sa Baguio, kay Mr. Orig. Mother of pearl na buhaya. It was nothing special, ang dami ko nakikitang ganun. It's not that special. The price was even very high. Pero talagang hindi ko tapos sabi ko sa wife, ang dami ko na nabili na kung ano-ano. But I need this. Sabi ko, anong you need this? Sabi niya, anong ibig mo sabihin? Bumibili tayo pang benta.
Oo nga.
Hindi pwedeng you need that, you want it. Pang benta ang hanap natin. That's why we go through yung ng friends natin. Tapos babaratin mo pa yan ng sobra-sobra para kumita ka naman. Wala, binili ko. Last day before kami sumakay ng bus, bumalik ako. Magkano sabi mo? 6,000. Sabi naman to eh. Sabi ko na ganun. Akin na, balot mo na. Kinuha ko. Ngayon nasa bahay nandito.
Oo.
Kasi hindi ako mapakali na parang... Hindi ko alam. Now na I have it, parang hinahawak-hawakan ko, ginaganon ko.
Parang may connection talaga.
I actually feel better. I mean, I don't know. Siguro, opening ng year, actually crazy yung opening ng year namin. We opened here ng January 2. crazy
This
ang
year?
sales.
This year?
Yeah, crazy the sales. Sabi ko nga, so I'll never let go of this one na I got. Crazy ang sales. As in, you don't expect it kasi
Yes.
usually start ng quarter yan. This is the time na people pay taxes, everything.
Yes.
Ang laki ng ginastos for New Year.
Oh.
Nobody spends talaga.
Yes,
Accepted yan, yung mga negosyo na ganito kasi non-essential kami. But opening ng year, first day I was here, I told my wife, we were expecting a slow day. Uwi sana ng maaga. Nag-pop in, bum hanggang sa night time. Like, man, I had like so much money. Sabi ko, nabawi ko na yung pinambili ko ng yung lahat ng everything na I bought.
Okay.
Halos nabawi ko na in one day and more. Sabi ko, yeah, there's some things na parang if it's calling to you siguro, it's most likely telling you something. Ewan ko lang din if it's like personal ko siguro, but that was the only thing na, yung t-shirt ko lang, hindi ko lang sabing swerte yung t-shirt na rinigalo sa akin. Or yung parating binibigyan ng t-shirt, pantalon sa brief eh. No, pwedeng yung brief na binigyan ng nanay ko kasi parating naman yung binibigyan tuwing Christmas eh. That was the only different thing na I acquired that time na pang personal na I actually bought and dreamt about na mapipinpoint ko na it was actually telling me siguro na, you know, take me.
Yes, so...
Ayun. There's some things na I don't want to sell.
yes, na-acquired mo na.
Yeah, acquired. Na sometimes it was meant na dapat ibenta mo. At ayokong parang inisip ko rin na pag binenta ko, mamamalasin ako.
Pero ito, question Carlo. Na-mention mo na Catholic ka nga. Pero do you keep some of the beliefs or practices from your...
Yeah. The strange thing, disclaimer lang, I'm like Catholic. My wife's also Catholic. But deep down inside, siguro sa puso namin, especially kami na we grew up with the rituals. I've seen my grandmother, both sides of our family. I've seen it, bata pa lang ako. They've been doing it hanggang sa upon their death nila. Siguro yung lola na siguro namin, ng both sides. My lola and then my lolo sa father side. Sila na siguro yung last na who will see the kanyal. Kasi it's just not practical anymore. But deep down inside sa puso mo, the native belief, native yung cultural namin, will always trump yung
Yes.
Christian. I mean, no offense sa any but ganun siya eh. When it comes to identifying, let's say, for example, may nangyaring masama, they will always say na they will not tell you to go consult the psychiatrist or consult like the police. Consult the parang medicine man.
Anong tawag niyo sa
Mambunong.
Mambunong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mambunong. Bunong means to give out. Mambunong para siyang giving out advice.
Okay.
At the same time, siya ang nagpe-preside sa rituals pag ibaloy. It might be called something else sa different areas. But sa amin, specifically sa clan namin, sa family namin, they're called mambunong. Siya, parang sometimes they just wake up one day, may bumulong sa kanila and they have to do this, they quit. Yung isang kasama ko, we were supposed to go to Saudi Arabia together, work as nurses. Siya natuloy. Ako, I went somewhere else. He came back after 6 months. Biglang mambunong na siya.
Oo.
Now he's doing it now.
Ikukwento ko ito mabilis. Kasi nakausap ko si Jade, past guest namin. Meron siyang kaibigan sa Korea. Tapos, yung kaibigan niya, merong parang employee na dapat i-regularize na nila or whatever. Tapos nung 6 months after, nung kinamusta niya, kasi nakilala niya rin yung person na yun, sabi niya, kamusta na si ganyan? Shaman na siya. Ha? Na-possess na siya. So, shaman na siya. Ganun daw. Walang ano-ano. Bigla siya na-possess, shaman na siya. So, parang early part of this year, yun yung busiest time for those people na parang biglang na-awaken at nag-shaman. So, inaccept niya na yung role niya, may spirit within her, para kumbaga albularyo or parang mambunong na siya.
Parang albularyo. Parang ganun na.
Para automatic daw. Parang, tsuk, wala na. Hindi na
Ganun siya
siya,
eh.
wala na professional world, wala na. Shaman na siya. Parang yung sa
Drinap
Exuma.
niya lahat.
Parang sa Exuma, ganun na daw siya.
Trinap niya lahat.
Oo, dinrap lahat.
And then now, siya ang tinatawag pati pamilya namin kasi malayong kamag-anak namin sila eh. Siya ang tinatawag na Basta walang explanation and nobody dares to ask why, how. Accepted na lang. Ganun na siya.
So, nagko-consult kayo minsan sa kanya?
Yeah. That's what happens. Like, if you had the dream, they always tell you na, sige, tanungin natin. Importanteng anuhin yan. They call yung siguro secondary na sila tatawag na pare pag talagang na. Parang ganun siya. If may namatay, mangunguna pa rin yung tribal, yung cultural beliefs na like there are some sa Benguet, yung mga Ibaloy, you have to be buried in a pine coffin.
Yes.
As in pine coffin lang talaga. Hindi pwedeng hindi pine. Yun, mauuna pa rin yun before everything else. If you're from a financially lower or hindi na masabing financial eh. Yung lolo ko, for example, they come from a caste na hindi naman mayaman nung araw. Olden times ba? So even if you get accolades or get rich na in time, if you were born from a caste na ganun, parang sa amin, we will be buried with the white cloth only. Gusto nila siyang i-bury with the stripe, yung na parang kay Mayor Dumogan. Sabi nung family members na, and then the elderly, no, hindi ka pwede. Even if may 10 million ka na, but you were born in the caste namin, you were born a poor man, you will be buried in the white cloth as a common man. Hindi pwedeng mag-change. I don't know, it's a strange sa amin, but you cannot change yung mo.
Oo, yung
So lahat
standing in
kami,
life. Oo.
even my dad, my mom, ako, we will be buried in the white na cloth.
Because dun kayo nang galing?
Diyan kami nanggaling na Even let's say, for example, by some chance, mananaw ng loto ng 500 million, I will not be buried in the stripe na, I will be buried in the white. Ganun siya.
Parang respecting then from where you came. Yun ang for me.
Mangunguna lahat ng mga yon.
Oo.
And then, kakatay muna sila ng baboy. And always sa lahat ng where there's the dead, there's always a presider na, siguro aside from the priest, there's always a presider na, yung mambunong or yung, siguro converted to albularyo siguro, mga native na namin, priests. Sila, they will be always there. Part always sila, regardless kung anong ka na.
Oo.
Mangunguna pa rin siya
Yes.
kaysa yung Tapos lahat ng mga beliefs namin, belief sets, especially revolving around death, nangunguna always yung native na namin. Yun yung the time they bury you, yung about ng araw.
Yung time? So may certain time depending on when you died or yung may time
Ang
for
alam ko,
burial times
sa amin,
talaga?
it cannot be in the afternoon, it cannot be nighttime. It always has to be in the morning eh. Kasi they have to check the sun eh. Kung nasan yung araw, kung saan siya mag-rise, doon ito yung ulo mo. So directly, pag ganun, pagbagsak niya, doon dapat yung paanan mo. Something like that, I think.
So pati yung pati kung saan babagsak yung,
Yes.
dapat alam mo kung saan yung path kung saan.
Yes, parang ganun. So you need the mambunong
Oo, kasi siya yung...
to read the and then you need consultation from yung elders. Maraming ganyan na mga sa amin.
Okay, meron lang tayong konting notes na nakuha kay Casey, ang ating naging guest sa episode na Ang Abay ni Kamatayan. Sabi niya yung cloth, depende sa tribe. Ang pagkabalot daw is always left over right. And in some cases, if super conservative yung family, left over right din yung hands ng deceased over the chest. So wala lang, nasingit ko lang kasi na-share ko nga itong part na to kay Casey. Balik tayo sa kwento ni Sir Carlo.
And then magbabasa pa sila ng they always do that eh. If you see it na parang mga movies, kakatay ng manok, babasahin yung liver.
Yes.
Always apart. Tapos yung mambunong magsasabi na, okay, pwede na. A requirement for this one na ritual, 2 itim na baboy. Tapos dapat masatisfy yung If not, katay ka ulit.
Talaga?
Depending on yung satisfaction ng pagbasa. So you could slaughter 10 chickens, dire-diretso kung hindi niya gusto yung basa ng
So parang depending dun sa parang need ng spirit na ina-appease.
Oo. Babasahin mo yung liver ng manok, ibabasahin ng mambunong. Titignan niyang ganyan. Tapos, depende.
So nakausap mo tong distant relative, friend mo siya, di ba? Tama ba? Distant relative rin.
Hindi ko na, mostly kasi pag ganun, ang
Hindi ko na-
angle nila ay yung mga
nabubuhay
it's just yung the seniors na ng elderly ng clans eh.
Parang no? Naisip ko lang, parang sa, yung nakausap kasi kami babaylan before, sa South naman siya, parang talagang serve the community. Community ka, based ka. Hindi ka pwedeng hindi ka technically pwedeng mag-serve sa ibang communities. Dapat yung,
pwede.
pwede. So pwede may mga outsider.
May popular din na sabihin nila, tawagin nyo si yung mambunong na let's say for example, tiga La Trinidad. Na-solve niya yung natahimik yung espiritu, hindi na ginagambala si tita, nakabangon siya.
Talaga?
Siya ang nagpagaling. So tatawagin siya.
So pwede.
To mediate. Mediator lang naman siya.
Yes, mediator. Sige na.
Siya ang maghahanap ng kung ano yung tamang requirements para ma-mediate yung needs nung ancestor ng spirits. And then yung ano. Para sa amin kasi, it's a I'm not sure kung sa lahat, but sa amin kasi ang understanding ko yung based sa halos lahat ng ano ko nung na-encounter ko sa pamilya namin, sa clans namin. Ang nagko-cause ng sakit ay yung hindi mo pagtupad sa mga obligasyon mo sa mga namatay, sa mga nauna. Kaya sila nagpapanaginip, nagpaparamdam, parang ganun. Kasi sabi nila, may nakalimutan ka kasi. May nakalimutan kang gawin. Kaya
may nararamdaman kang idol.
Exactly. Parang ganun. Like for me, for example, personal ano ko, when my grandmother sa mother side, before she passed away, nag-fund kasi siya ng pera sa akin. Binigyan niya akong pera one time. Sabi niya sa akin, pag namatay ako, iparitsan nakti baboy, magkatayan mo ako ng... Until now, hindi ko pa nagagawa, utang ko yun sa kanya. But I still have a long lifetime to pay for it. But hindi pa naman niya ako kinakalabit. There most likely come a time if I forget. I never forget about yung utang ko sa kanya. And yun, yung mga ganun.
So literal, dapat ikaw ang magkatay sa baboy?
No naman.
Okay.
Just siguro, i-schedule nyo and then kapag nandun, sabihin mo yung intention kung bakit ginawa natin tong ritual na to. It's to to pay for my debt na yung pinag-usapan namin. Parang ganun.
May question ako. Hindi ko alam saan hindi ka ma-offend sa question. Pero pwede ba yun na parang, kumbaga, for efficiency sake, kakatay ka na rin ng baboy, paggawa ka na rin ng bulol? Kasi kailangan rin ng bulol.
No.
Hindi.
It's a
Specific
different,
siya.
sa pagpagawa ng bulol sa Ifugao, it's a process. It's a long process. It starts with if I'm not mistaken, it might not be the same with everybody. Based on my understanding, it starts with the boy. It starts with his first haircut.
Okay.
Up to yung adulthood niya. Marriage, you have your plots of land, and then you have to make everything siya. Hanggang ang endpoint mo kasi ng life cycle kasi yan eh.
Oo.
Yung endpoint mo is the prestige bench, the big na dahagabi. Yan na yung endpoint ng parang cycle. Yan na yung peak ng ng kayamanan mo. Prestige bench talaga siya. The bigger, the better. Ibig sabihin na reach mo yung full potential mo. Ang naggaganyan talaga, kahit na anong sabihin natin, we have a caste system eh.
Yes.
It's from the caste ng mayayaman. It starts with his first haircut and his first throw ng spear. They will identify a boy sa community na, usually anak ng mayaman yan. Anak ng mayaman all the time. Na his father also went through the same process.
Yes.
So he'll introduce it sa son. Kukuha sila ng, I think it's a spear and then yung what do you call this na, yung ng banana.
Okay.
They'll give the young boy the spear. Throw it
there.
The thing. And congratulate the kasi kumbaga man ka na, parang ganun, lalaki ka na. And then they cut his hair, the first na niya. Sa amin kasi, makita mo yung old photos, mahaba yung mga buhok ng mga We had no concept of cutting hair, not that much na They cut his hair. Ritual cutting ng hair. Ayan.
As in, back portion lang. Sinisignal. Okay.
Hanggang sa different processes na yan, he will grow up. There maraming different na maraming different na smaller rituals culminating into the making of the bulol. Kapag medyo adult ka na and then may plots of land, may rice field ka na, meron ka ng granary. Kasi ang purpose niya is to watch over yung granary mo. Hanggang sa after niyan, papapagawa ka na ng bigger na yung prestige bench na talagang mayaman. Fully ka na functioning individual ka sa community. Yun na yung culmination ng mga kayamanan mo. Pagpapakita mo na na mayaman ka. But lahat yung mga yan, it requires pagkakatay ng manok to check muna
sa liver
maganda
muna.
yung basa. Tapos magre-require na yung native priest ng baboy. And then you move on to the next ritual after a few years or after you make the boxes na to get to this. Mga ganun siya. But basically sa amin kasi ang part ng always part ng ritual sa amin ay ang opening kumbaga ay manok.
Manok ko.
To check the liver.
Oo.
Reading muna. Manok dapat siya. Tapos after that, sige, baboy na tayo. Pwede na tayo kung ilan. Yun. Ganun siya. The rituals cannot be kumbaga sabay-sabay. Ayaw din nila. meron ka dapat
Dapat may certain intention for that certain sacrifice.
my names actually even sa amin sa Ibalay sa Baguio City. My dad still knows a few of the names of the rituals. Now kasi pag kumantay na kanyaw sasabihin na lang. It is general ano na lang na parang kakate kasi ng baboy, kanyaw, may karne. But my dad told me na they had different names. He knows a few.
Per ritual.
Yes,
Oo.
may meaning siya. There are the others, there's a ritual because you had a dream and then you want it read or you want it solved. Kasi ginagambala ka ng panaginip mo. May iba yun. Meron naman yung parang magpapabuyon ang tawag nila, ninakaw for example, yung isang kilong ginto mo. Gusto mong malaman kung sino. Iba ulit yun.
Oo.
Iba rin ulit yung sa, let's say for example, ano pa ba? Iba naman yung gusto mong mag-ritual para sa namantayan mo. Kasi parados nang papanaginip sa'yo. Hindi niya sinasabi kung bakit, but they're always there. So
kailangan ng ritual muna nun bago malaman
kung meron ba siyang
kung
kailangan.
message or ano.
So iba-iba sila.
Okay.
Iba pa ulit yung para sa bahay mo, pag gagawa sa sariling
oo.
bahay, bagong bahay. Iba pa ulit pag namatayan ka. There's so much. Ang basic lang na requirement, always na basic denominator, is the chicken, yung baboy, at yung officiator, yung mediator, yung native na priest. Yun. So it takes a lot of money and a lot of time.
Totoo. Naalala ko lang, may nakausap ng babaylan. Nakakatawa, similar sa kimento mo nga na. One time daw nagka-dream siya na tinext niya kagad, kasi modern na.
Modern.
Tinext niya kagad dun sa senior niya, parang ito yung napanaginipan ko, ganyan. Okay, sige, bukas, group chat yata sila.
Panalo.
Tapos, mapag-analyze nila kung bakit gano'n. Pero yun nga, Southern Region, kay Batara. Meron naalala ko, habang nag-usap tayo, nagsasabi niya, sandali lang tapos may kausap siya, sabi niya, kasi may dream ako no other night. Parang binring up niya lang sa seniors niya, kung ano kaya meaning nito. Tapos, nakakatawa lang na, group chat na siya. Tapos,
Sa amin kasi, hindi pa na-reach yung part na ganyan eh. Kasi may mga physical pa eh. Parang dapat andun yung mambunong eh. Hahawakan ka pa, hawakan yung ulo mo, bubulungan ka, mag-uusap kayo. Minsan sasaniban ka o sasaniban siya para ma-confirm ninyo yung kung ano man yung hinala ninyo, yung mga ganun. Siguro, I'm guessing, if magpapatuloy at mag-evolve din yung sa amin yung kultura, we will get to that point. Yeah. It's like how siguro yung sa feng shui, sa Chinese, they can just do it over the na lang
Yes,
messenger na lang eh.
yes, pakita na lang yung
Oo.
Pero yun nga, iba pa rin yung mini-measure pa rin eh. Sa naalala ko, meron kilala na may bibili yata silang condominium. Sa nakaharap, sabi nung feng shui master. So may sa app niya meron siya kung saan nakapoint yung door, kung saan so ganun na, modern na.
Siguro, darating yung punto na ganun eventually. But para sa akin, I fear na if it's not continued, if nobody talks
Yes,
about
I think it has to
it
be. It
will
has to
go
be recorded.
away.
It has
Yes.
to be recorded. It has to be written down. Pero I'm sure meron namang nag-take down nung parang.
Yan yung issue. Some kasi wouldn't want to talk about it. Even in the families, they don't want na, like sa amin noon, since you have like a sort of a caste system,
Yes.
my grandfather daw, sabi nung dad ko, yung lolo niya, in time of yung kanna or yung gathering, ang pwede niya lang daw i-cut would be the intestines. Hindi daw siya pwedeng humawak ng karne.
Oo.
Ibang yung medyo mas mataas na tao sa kanya.
Yes.
Kasi bitag sila, they're like the poor. He's only allowed to take care of the intestines. So ngayon, hindi na tuloy alam kung ano yung rituals for the others.
Yes,
Kasi
yes.
hindi siya in-include.
Correct.
Yung mga anak niya rin, hindi rin namin alam. Ngayon, paano pag namatay lahat yung mga may alam nung at
Correct.
kami lang natitira?
Oo.
So, ang maituturo lang namin, yung alam namin.
Sa side nyo lang.
Hindi na
Oo.
namin alam yung other parts of the story. But, yun kasi, it takes everybody, yung cooperation of everybody to get the whole picture. But, dahil hindi pwedeng isalin sa iba, they refuse or it's probably pride.
Yes.
They don't want everybody to know. Nawawala yung...
Yun yung malungkot eh.
There's this one na it's a ritual na singing. It's for the dead. Bakliw.
So may sapi rin to habang
Yeah.
Okay.
Once so everybody gathers. Anybody actually But during the olden times, ang nagbabakliw lang, it's just the elderly and then yung medyo may kakayanan sa buhay. They don't include you if parang, ano lang yan pastol ng baka yan huwag yung sama yan. They talk about yung dead person in a song, parang, it's like,
Storytelling
yes.
na,
Oral by singing,
Yes.
yung relationship nila sa tao, yung paano nila nakilala, then somebody will catch on and then do it.
Ituloy yung story.
Ngayon, we fear na, I think I haven't heard it in 10 years na Last na I've seen and heard it is
Sa community nyo? Sa
ano ng grandfather ko when pang ilang years niya when they kinalkal yung bones niya. And then konti na lang sila.
Na marunong.
Before it was 20, 30 people.
Yes.
Days yan Ang
days
tagal,
yung...
Depending on gaano kadami at gaano kadaming kwento ang meron sa kanila na experiences nila doon sa namatay. Ngayon, 4, 3. It's because they never taught the others how yung mechanics, how it goes, what do you talk about, pwede bang kahit na ano lang, pwede bang how the ritual goes. Nobody knows. Kasi parang ginigate-keep ng mga iba kasi yung knowledge or yung ano na it gets lost. Parang namamatay siya.
Yes, totoo.
For some, they accept the fact na it's okay na mawawala. But for others, they would still want to continue but they don't know how. Kasi one, we don't write about it. One, we don't talk about it. Tatanungin mo sa matanda, tita, bakit linilibing si pag ganitong oras? Huwag ka nga makulit, tanong ka ng tanong.
Talaga?
Basta gawin nyo na lang. Kung ayaw nyo gawin, huwag kayong sumama. Ganun na lang. So wala kang clear na, hindi mo alam kung bakit.
Walang context. Wala kang context.
Sabihin sa'yo na don't play with the gong. Bakit di pwedeng paglaruan yung gong? Wag kang ang kulit-kulit mo Ganun lang. Later on ko lang nalaman na the gong was needed to call yung ancestors, yung mga to come and na you do not call them if you don't have anything to offer kasi ma-offend mo yung sacred siya. Ganun siya. That's why yung mga younger ngayon, they just keep playing for everybody. It's like a show na nowadays. But kasi nawala na yung meaning. Because noon, hindi na sinasabi sa amin na bakit bawal pala. Bakit hindi pwede. They always just tell you na basta. Ngayon tuloy, they just do it for show. Wala na. Namamalimos nga sila.
Oo nga.
Kasi they never taught them na hindi pwede.
So yung burden niyan, Carlo, nasa iyo.
Nasa atin. The sad part kasi ng mga the most ng taong interested are not even from the tribes themselves.
Totoo.
They're the people who appreciate the most. Very sad, but it's from iba. Foreigners mostly, mga ganyan. A good chunk of yung natin, cultural heritage natin is abroad.
Oo, no? Pero meron tayo, di ba? May community, merong supposed to be part of the government na nagre-record ng kulang sa funding.
That's the problem, funding. And who gets to store the information? Who gets to collate? Who writes it down?
Siyempre, may bias
manpower.
depende kung sino yung
Exactly, yun yung isa. You should see it through the eyes ng observer only. Hindi sana yung bibigyan mo ng flavor.
Oo.
Kaya tayo medyo mahirap kumuha ng information na nowadays nagkakagulo-gulo na rin.
Yes, oo.
Ayun.
Thank you, Carlo. Salamat. Thank you. Salamat. Feeling ko mag-uulit pa ako ulit.
Yeah. Kasi marami ang mga we have a lot. Kung sana nasa Baguio tayo, we could call yung other guys and then ask them yung
Ay, sige. Kasi balak namin pumuntang Baguio just because yun nga, yung isang kausap namin na embalsamador is based there. Tapos meron rin kami na isa na kausap na may bed and breakfast. They live there, pero ngayon they live here. So, paano napag-usapan? Punta tayo just to mag-ghost hunt rin yata sila, pero explore. Kasi,
check out the dun sa Luwakan. Pinuto na nila yun yung puno. Yung nasa gitna ng
may gold daw yun
na
Pinahanap na
siya.
gold doon
may uncle,
Tapos marami namatay.
We're from there all the time. Okay. They like traverse that road all the time. Nabangga niya yun, almost. Yeah. Out of nowhere, sabi niya, bigla lang may puno. But he knows it's already there. Long time ago, bata pa lang kami dyan. Higanteng puno yun. ang dami ng disgrasya doon. One is because of the fog.
Yes, oo.
Pero alam namin na nandun. So why will you speed up?
Oo.
Kasi hindi mo in-expect na akala mo it's like too
Layo
malayo pa. Pero
yes.
nandyan na siya.
Nandyan na siya, oo.
Pinutol siya eventually. Ang daming kwento about that tree. Ang daming, basta, mga sinasabi kung ano about the tree.
Oo nga eh.
But it's been there older than us kasi.
Oo, yes, totoo.
That's the problem.
Ay, oo nga pala. Sorry. Before we end, Carlo,
Yeah.
baka pwede mong kwento yung sa mga listeners, if ever, about your shop, tsaka contact, how to get in touch with you.
GNB, Collectibles Hangout. Just drop by. We're here every day, 12 noon hanggang 7 p.m. We sell almost everything under the sun. But the best na, actually, I always tell everybody, they always ask me, what's the most expensive thing dito? Ano most valuable thing dito? Sabi ko, it's a stories.
Yes. Oo.
It's
As
a
we've
stories.
learned
And
today.
then, very important and the most expensive, the most valuable actually na people cannot comprehend kung bakit at kung paano. But I made good money via the leads and via all the stories na the more you know about what you have dito, the more you get to appreciate, the more it leads you to other na more interesting na We're here every day.
Ali Mall.
Ali Mall. Ang
Floor?
Ali Mall Cubao, upper ground floor.
Upper ground floor.
We are near the former chapel.
Near
You'll see
sorry?
me, the former chapel.
Okay, former chapel.
You'll see Chucky there every day
Okay.
with my bulol.
Oo.
Nandyan sila.
Ayun, sige. Thank you.
Salamat ulit, Sir Carlo. Ang gandang POV para sa amin na hindi aware sa mga cultural stories nyo dyan sa Minorte. Di na ata namin na-record pero minsan daw may mga buntot pagi si Sir Carlo. So kung naghahanap kayo, mahahanap nyo yan sa shop niya sa Ali Mall Cubao. Upper ground floor, near the former chapel, GNB Collectibles. Thank you rin pala kay JP, ang ating referrer sa episode na ito. Siya ang nagpakilala sa akin kay Sir Carlo dahil napabili yata siya sa shop. Sana maging sign ito para sa iba dyang naririnig na meron kayong access sa mga kwento ng mga nakakatanda sa pamilya nyo. Na i-record nyo na, di ba? Tago nyo lang, kahit within the family nyo lang i-share, di ba? Pero at least, ipapasa nyo to sa future generations at maituloy nyo kahit pa paano yung mga tradisyon at kultura na nabubura ng panahon. Kung may mga kwento ka rin gaya ni Sir Carlo at gusto mo i-share, pwede yan, email mo lang sa paranormalsph@gmail.com. Kung type mo naman ng ganitong mga kwentuhan, baka try mong mag-like, share, and subscribe. Mahanap ang podcast sa Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Apple Podcast, and Hick-Hack. Meron new episodes every Thursday, 1:37 p.m. sa YouTube at Tuesday sa sunod na linggo, 7 p.m. sa Spotify. Gaya nga ng nasabi ko, nauuna tayo ngayon sa YouTube before tayo sa Spotify. Kung ikaw naman ay nalulumbay at walang makausap at gusto mong may kabatuhang dila tungkol sa mga kababalaghan, pwede ka mag-join sa Discord server ng podcast kung saan madaming like-minded peeps na makikipagbatuhan dila sa iyo. In case you are a new listener of the podcast, welcome. Ang suggestion ko is magsimula ka sa episode 1 kasi maraming episode na connected at mas nagme-make sense if simulan nyo doon. Hirit lang tayo ng shout-out! Shout-out tayo dyan kay Martin na isang listener at kakilala ng isa nating past host. Martin, salamat sa pakikinig. Thank you very much for the support. Before we end the podcast, let's just read a few comments from episode 177, Gabi ng Misteryo with Sir Ray Sibayan. Ano nga ba naman ang synchronicity? Habang binabasa ko ito, naalala kong kaka-message lang ni Sir Ray mga 10 minutes ago. Meron kami pinag-usapan. Sir Ray, hindi ko alam kung maabot ka sa gantong section pero hello at salamat sa pagiging guest dito sa episode na to. Okay, balik tayo sa comments. From JJ Tuason, sabi niya, great-grandmother ko sa father side, taga Gandara, Samar. She died in the 1900s. Ano kaya mga alam nila noon tungkol sa biringan? Aba, JJ, yan ang magandang mo maitanong sa mga buhay pang kamag-anak sa side na yon. sign mo na itong episode. I-record mo na yan. Kahit itago nyo lang sa pamilya nyo. Pero at least, alam mo kung anong mga kwento, diba? From Rotten Hermit, naisip ko lang, hindi ba yung story ng building ng Tower of Babel is about ascension? Hi, Rotten Hermit. Actually, di ko naisip yan and hindi ko pa naririnig yung actually ng theory na yan. Alam ko lang, is ginawa nila yung tower para super taas na umaabot sa heaven. So, I'm not sure if that refers to what you mean by ascension or baka gusto lang nila literally umabot sa heaven. Pero, food for thought. Si JSZ naman, may kakaibang question. Iniisip ko, may movie character ba na sample as fourth or fifth dimensional beings? Comment down below. Char! Ito ang comment ko, JSZ. I think, sa pagkakaintindi ko, lahat naman ng multo ay medyo fourth dimensional being. So, lahat ng mumu na nakita mo ay fourth D entity. Pero kung sa Marvel movies naman, sorry, yun yung naisip ko lang na possibly may example sa mga ganyan. Kung familiar kayo sa Doctor Strange, meron siyang encounters doon with some fourth or probably fifth dimensional beings. I think si Dormammu, naisip ko isa sa mga baka fifth dimensional being. Di natin alam. Baka mali ako. Sabi nga ni GSZ, if may valiant reaction kayo, comment down below. Charles. Ang last comment natin for today from Jen naman. Thank you so much, Direk. This resonates with me. Please do more topics regarding fifth dimension ascension. Hi, Jen. Baka gusto mong mag-try sa mga episodes ni Sir Ray Sibayan, Gabi ng Misteryo. Pwede mo siya masundan sa Facebook and sa YouTube. And nag-share siya doon ng ibang mga topics gaya nito. And as much as I would want to share more about this stuff, parang konti rin lang kasi talaga na-encounter ko na ganito ang pursuit or goal nila. Maybe I can have Sir Ray back in the future. May utang pa akong kape kay Sir Ray. Sir, habol ko yan. Gusto ko rin kasi tackle ang disclosure and ETs and possibly dimensions out there that we cannot perceive. And I think although mas maliit ang impact sa ibang tao na fixed sa 3D dimension na ito, kung ano man yung topics na gusto kong pag-usapan na yun, it will help kind of bring perspective sa inyong daily actions. Anyway, this ends our comment section. If gusto nyo mag-comment, correct, or violent reaction, lagay nyo lang yan sa YouTube or Spotify. And as long as hindi bastos yan, babasahin ko yan. Before we end the episode, let's have a big shout out to our paranormal Patreons and coffee supporters. Thank you, April, Arian, Z, Biker Mama, Emrys, J3, Justine, Laura, Leia H, Mark, Kent, Yad, Hotaru, JRS, Janelle, Chris, Francine, Jo, Kim, and Leia J. Thank you for all your support. In case you're curious, Patreon is one of the ways you can support the podcast. If you want to know what the perks are to being a Patreon, just click on the link in the show notes. One perk is you get to join the calls, or you might get advanced copies of episodes. So, nung break, some Patreons got to hear these episodes already. Hindi pa siya edited, pero nandun na yung parang edited-ish episodes. If you want to support the podcast in other ways, pwede yan. You can share it with like-minded friends. Thank you sa mga referrers. Nababalitaan ko na mga sinishare nyo yung eps natin sa inyong mga kaibigan. So maraming salamat dyan. The Paranormal Podcast is engineered and produced by F90 Productions. Maraming salamat ulit sa inyong lahat. Please stay safe. Hello, peeps! May pahabol lang na kwento si Sir Carlo. So, pakinggan natin.
The names, kasi they hold a lot. The words hold a lot of meaning sa amin. Papangalanan ka based on yung traits mo.
Yung traits mo.
Yes. Or based on yung kahit hindi ka pa na ipapakanak. One na-experience ko was nun sa dating ka-shop namin sa Baguio. Unborn child. Buntis pa lang siya. Sinusuntok na niya nanay niya.
Okay.
Nafe-feel yung nanay niya. Nafe-feel din nung ano. So, kinonsulta nila. One elder said, they felt it. Kamay yan, hindi yan pa. Sinusuntok ka niya. So, binigyan na siya ng name, Lumanog. It means punching. Yun na name na yun will only be known sa closed na
family.
yes. Nobody else can call you that or can and then they give you a name. Like for example, Christian.
Yes.
Ganyan siya. But yung actual name na dun sa amin or sa community nila sa Lumanog, nobody can know it. Kasi I'm not quite sure how it goes, but once they have your real name, they can just parang pagkukulamin ka in shorter in easier terms. Pag kinulam ka at kinulam si Christian, wala effect yan si Christian. But once they know yung native name, yung real name mo, patay ka. So the native name must not be. Ngayon, oo. Sometimes we have names na like sa amin, our family names really have meaning.
Yes.
By the meaning ng name mo, they can tell more or less siguro kung anong katayuan mo sa buhay. Like say for example, if your name is Akop or Akop, it's an owl.
Okay.
Para siyang revered na animal. So mataas yung standing mo siguro which true naman kasi mayaman talaga sila. They even name a place after them. Medyo mataas ang standing nila sa community. On the other hand, there are some names na hindi maganda. Obviously, mababa ang So you cannot, noon siguro it would be hard to marry if you're not from the top na names. So one way to identify is by knowing the name ng, they can tell where you're from.
Family name pala,
yes. Alam na kung ano ka. Alam na kung anong ugali ninyo, kung sino kayo mga ganun. Unfortunately sa amin, mas siguro ancient na name, like before the my dad doesn't even know the meaning for family name anymore. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been around for quite some time na they don't know.
So pati sa community hindi na.
Hindi na. Kasi iba nagki-change kasi yung yung words din.
Yes.
That's why we want to compile the words kasi some words are omitted. Some are born na
Tsaka parang nag-change na yung pronunciation minsan, diba?
Yes, yun din yung problema.
Walang letters.
So, one way na is to be able to identify yung mga root words na is through collecting yung mga words and then the meanings. Kasi sometimes doon nanggagaling yung names talaga or doon talaga nanggagaling yung names. They do not come up with parang gagawa na sila ng parang name. It comes from real words na tied sa'yo.
Tied sa family talaga.
Tied sa tao. But when naming came na kasi when the Americans came, is less na modern na. So the only thing you carry would be your family name. But some would still bear a family name na older na may magandang meaning or standing. Sometimes lost in translation kasi when they register sa American time, for example, yung cousins namin, then the name ng tao kasi may family name na siya kasi sumama siya sa World War II . So ang name niya is Claro Kiwas. Claro was his first name, Spanish. Kiwas is yung family name niya, name ng dad din niya. Nung rinirehistro yung mga anak niya, when the Americans wanted to register and then the government, Philippine government, some children, let's say there are 6 children, 3 took yung name na Claro as their family name. 3 took the name Kiwas. They're all brothers and sisters but magkaiba. Si Ann Kiwas at saka let's say for example si John Claro, magkapatid by blood pero iba silang apelyido. Kasi ang kinuha nila
pagdating sa
because at that time they didn't feel like it was important. Yung mga ganun. So kung anong gusto nila, yun na yung dyan na siya nawawala.
So parang pag nagkahiwa-hiwalay yung family, di nila alam magkamag-anak pala sila.
Magkapatid talaga yung iba. But magkaiba sila ng apelyido. Magpinsan pala yung mga ito, hindi nila alam. They think they're not related because magkaibang apelyido. But si Claro Kiwas is one person. Yung mga anak nilang 3 took the Claro as a family name. A lot. So it's a big project to try to identify yung family tree. We always do it pag nag-reunion kami. Parang you can tie in yung mga loopholes sa loose ends ng para sa amin kasi I don't know. Sabi ko nga sa wife ko, my wife recently found out about her grandmother lang in 19s or 80, yung family tree. Ngayon lang.
Ngayon lang.
Yeah. Sabi ko sa akin, bata pa lang ako, alam ko na kung ano yung family, saan kami nanggaling, ano yung mga pangalan na yun, ganito. Some think kasi na it's some see it like, siguro may other friends see it as extreme na bakit mo pa kailangan malaman kung pinsan mo tong si Carino? Hindi, bakit pa? Bakit pag may new information na nalaman mo na eto pala ay anak ni Gaya ito, very elated ka, parang sabi ko it's an important na so we could figure out kung ano yung at the same time we could finalize yung mga land dispute. Kasi territorial ng clans yan. So we could plansahin yung and to find out kung sino ba talaga ang
ang tamang
naunang
makikihati
ganun siya.